Welcome to episode 1 of Tales of Aneria. We have been waiting for this for so long and so excited. For those who have been watching my channel, I guess, you know that we've been kind of hyping this for quite some time now. Hopefully you are as excited as we are. We did our session 0 that we posted last week, and now we're ready to just jump in. So, Cory,
okay,
it's your table, it's your show.
Sure.
Take it away.
All right. Well, my name is Cory. I'll be your DM, and yes, they're natural and spectacular.
Oh, yes, they are.
So, welcome to Aneria, a world of pleasant rolling hills, arcane mages who roam the land in packs of police war bands. Off to a great start. And most importantly, the home for our current adventure. So we're going to start tonight on the Long Road, which runs from the city of Terrebonne all the way down to Salsport on the southeastern side of the continent. It's not really a dangerous road, and yet we find ourselves following a panting figure as they run from something. This little gnome is running through the forest until she stumbles upon this decrepit old stone archway. And she looks at the choice between this unknown arch and what's chasing behind her, and she decides that perhaps the arch is better. And so she stumbles in, and despite there being nothing on the other side of the arch but more forest, she disappears. Then we pull out, and the long road kind of travels downward with us, south and then west. I'm trying to remember my own map here. Until we get to the crossroads leading into Six Hills. And it's festival time! Everybody is gearing up for the 60th anniversary festival of Six Hills that celebrates the conclusion of the Battle of Six Hills, the Brawl of Six Hills, the Riot of Six Hills, whatever you want to call it. But what it actually is the coming together of 6 different towns and their continued prosperity and working in harmony with one another. 60 years strong, starting tomorrow. It is the 5th of Fall, I believe, if I remember correctly. And we're actually going to start with 2 figures on the road, one of them looking a bit nervous, and the other one looking, for all intents and purposes, like a construct. So let's go ahead and get our first
I'm the nervous
description as an elf accidentally bumps into Ezra and says, sorry. So Ezra, what do you look like?
So I look kind of like an elf. Mostly like an elf. But I have this greenish tinge to my skin. I have tusks. Got this half-orc, half-elf vibe going on. I look probably pretty nervous at this point. Kind of checking over my shoulder. Looking at Bolt, making sure he thinks everything's okay. Just kind of following his lead.
Yeah. And speaking of Bolt, Bolt saw this elf knock into him. Does he think that there's anything wrong? No, kind of gives...
No, I'll just pay attention to it, just to make sure that nothing crazy is going to happen.
Okay.
But I feel like just being around Ezra is a good deterrent, seeing as how I'm 7'6", 400 pounds, all metal, Warforged. Yeah. Carrying a shield. Not actually carrying it, but on my back type of thing.
Yeah.
And a trusty mace on my side.
Okay. And in fact, it almost looks as if a wizard has brought his own golem to the festival with him. And for some people, and they give you plenty of berth as you head into the large kind of thoroughfare that goes between the 2 closest hills of Six Hills, which, by the way, once again, there are only 5 hills. The 6th is the valley that holds Baelin's Berth, where you guys are headed.
Upside down.
It's like in real life.
Yes.
They go, oh, this is 6 Oak Town, and they're like, there's only 3. There were 6 at one point.
Yeah, we used the other 3 to build the church.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is That's a very small amount of logs to build a church, by the way.
Yes.
Use more logs.
Large oaks.
Yeah.
Very
Small
large
church
oaks.
first. They use the 6th hill to build part of it, to build up the other 5 hills.
So, as you two move down this path, the 2 hills that roll on either side of you are nearly mountainous. As you walk down the path towards town, you can just make out the market town of Baelin's Berth. And for those of you at home, that's Berth. And hanging overhead is the barest hint of a gigantic stone watchtower looming over what has to be Bordergrad. That would be the hill on your left. Bordergrad is known for its defense of all of 6 hills. They have a lot of good military schools here. Plenty of Arcanum soldiers end up coming out from here, but mostly they're known for the Millibrax College of Martial Arts and Performance Arts. However, one of the most horrible creatures in all existence lingers between the 2 of you and the town proper. College kids. Several young adults.
I've experienced these in the wild before. We best steer clear. They have this game that they like to call golem tipping. And since I commonly get mistaken for a golem, well, you know the rest.
There are a couple eyeing you like there's a good one.
I
That's
can't
worth at least
squint
10
because I
points.
don't have like eyebrows or anything. I just kind of make them like, zzz. Just barely, because that's all they can do.
Yeah. So several young adults sit on the stoop of the hill of Bordergrad, enjoying the autumn air and laughing at jokes that you are no doubt not privy to. 4 sit in a circle, 2 beating drums and another playing a song on a lute, while serenading a young elven woman. At first glance, she seems cross that he's trying so hard, but the small smirk on her face and the giggling friends behind her break any illusion that his ballad is falling on deaf ears. While with most students so engaged, it would seem easy to slip past unnoticed. That is, until a young man drops down from seemingly nowhere. He is wearing a red cape and a feathered hat with a 3/4 face mask covering his face, obviously. The mask that is white, but for streaks of red painted along the cheeks and running down his face. Are either of you proficient in performance or history?
Snooker?
Not proficient.
I am proficient in history.
Proficient in history?
Yes.
You recognize that this is the usual mask that players use for the Weeping Swordsman, a folktale among the nobles or the houses of Terrebonne that basically describes a young man who was betrothed to a woman and had to fight incredible challenges to get to her, only to have her killed by his rival and become vengeance incarnate and leave a telltale mark along their cheeks.
So, would I think that this is someone we need to steer clear of, or...?
This kid seems to be a little more petulant than that, as he brandishes a dull rapier in your faces and says, "What ho! Art thou the villains that took my lover's life? Speak or be silenced forever."
Damn warpers. I just turned the bolt and kind of like...
Do you have any idea what he's talking about?
Yes, this is the, a mask of,
What was the name?
The Weeping Swordsman.
The Weeping Swordsman.
Oh.
And I just look back at him and...
Well,
I just kind of like take the rapier tip and just push it out of the way. Just like, that's a dangerous weapon to be brandishing towards strangers.
please, I've got perfect control over this. And he gives it a quick flourish and gets
foot?
into the sheet. Nope. We're trying not to do too much comedy off of the bat here. But you guys hear another voice, a young elven voice, as the woman who was... Let's see, what is it?
Being serenaded.
Yeah, the one who was serenaded, who is still kind of... Her cheeks are kind of flushed from the rather saucy end to what otherwise would be a great song. And she comes over and she says, "Brander, stop being an idiot." And then she turns to you and she says, "Hi, I'm Holly. My apologies for my moronic companion here. He's really just trying to challenge you."
Hello, Holly. I'm Ezra. I don't have a last name.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Why are you talking to me?
Oh, yes, of course. And is this your construct?
Yeah. No, my name is Bolt.
Oh, Intelligent. My apologies. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. It's a common mistake.
Well, nice to meet you, Bolt, and nice to meet you, Ezra. So you're both sentient creatures, which is great because we need 2 more. Okay, this is really hard to explain, so let me just try and get it out there. We're both members of the Millibrax College. Brander here is working towards a sword mage degree, acing my classes, actually. And I'm working towards a martial arts degree myself, focusing on healing magic, actually. But we've been trying to do our homework assignment before the festival, and our assignment requires us to challenge people in teams so that we can fight, and we haven't been able to get 2 more since the last team. We need just basically you 2 more, and we can get our final assignment done. Can we bother you to participate? It'd be complete sparring match, no permanent damage or anything like that.
I'm not really all that handy in a fight, to be honest.
I'm gonna be like, let me speak to my compatriot here. Just
Of course. Let me just and Brander like goes to take a step forward, and Holly like pushes him back, like, oh, we'll be over here.
So you wanted to be sort of inconspicuous, correct?
Right.
Right. I don't know the situation that you're in completely. However, how do I put this? Not participating in some of the festivities might come off as suspicious. So it is up to you.
Right.
It's up to you, of course. But a friendly sparring match might be kind of fun. We've been on the road for, it seems like weeks at this point.
All right. Well,
But
I'll follow your lead.
Okay. So I step back up. As long as you promise to keep it civil and friendly.
Of course, we'll keep it civil, won't we? And she turns to Brander, and he hesitates a moment, then he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Yes, we will keep it civil.
I guess we accept.
Thank you.
What happened to the last team?
Brander's like, huh, we kicked their ass, and the team before that, and the team before that. All 4 teams that we've faced so far, we've come out on top.
I think you'll find that my rump is much harder than most.
Really? 20 gold says we win. And Holly gives him that look of somebody who's completely frustrated but really like can't stop it at this point. And he's like,
I don't even.
Sound good?
You have my 10 gold because I paid you, but
I
so you have
forgot.
10.
Yeah, I have 10. I forgot how much I had initially.
it should be on your character sheet. You might have spent it all on other gear.
Okay.
You have 10 now. I have 0.
Unfortunately, we're not quite flush at the moment with gold.
And Brander starts walking away and he goes,
Friendly-
Holly, would you escort these
friendly
poppers?
Friendly wager. Okay. Never mind.
Holly kind of shakes her hand and she's like, I'm sorry about Brander. He's an asshole.
I wasn't picking up on that, actually.
Oh, really?
You need to be more observant. He was absolutely.
All right. So, the 2 of you get led up the switchbacks to Bordergrad. Basically, each of the hills has kind of a main road that leads up from Baelin's Berth, so you would have to go into the market and then head up to the main road. But there are several kind of smaller switchbacks for quicker travel. So Holly and Brander lead you up the hill, following the switchbacks built into the side, until you crest the top and get your first look at Bordergrad. These hills are massive, each able to hold a well-sized town in their own right. The first thing that you notice is the large tower at the edge of the hill. Braces have been built to support the old structure against erosion, and most of the guards look like students in their own right, save for a few veterans that are shouting orders and telling them to carry heavy boxes up and down stairs. The town proper lies ahead. Large buildings spread out in neat circles around a central building. Stone walls and arches make up a large arena that, even from this distance, the sound of cheering emanates from. So basically, Bordergrad is set up as the giant arena in the middle, and then you've got kind of a road thoroughfare with a few market stalls. Obviously, most of the marketplaces in Baelin's Berth. And then after that, you've got a lot of the different college buildings in another ring. Another kind of thoroughfare road. The college dormitories, buildings, every housing thing for staff is on the outer ring. And then outside of that is a It's a sort of a smattering of smaller sparring arenas. So they're more just like a couple stands like you would see at a high school football game or something. Okay. So they lead you actually to one of these, the outer stands. Small wooden stands, only 3 benches high, ring the outside edge of a dirt sparring ground separated by a thick rope dangling between wooden posts. Only one of the stands is occupied, holding a quartet of people. One is a halfling girl, idly sharpening a long dagger as she sits and chats with the other 3 and watches the action below. And we'll go ahead and say that she is currently speaking to Eve. Oh. So Eve, if you'd like to describe yourself.
Yes, Eve is quite lovely to behold. She has long, dark hair with piercing blue eyes, and she carries with her, she's dressed in armor, and she carries with her a shield and a long sword.
Awesome. Now, just because I love shields, is it a circular shield, a buckler, a tower shield, kite shield?
Circular.
Circular? Cool. Cool. And then, so she's talking with you idly as she's sharpening this knife, and watching kind of up a couple benches, even though it may not look like he can see anything at all, is Victor. Victor, would you like to describe your character and what he's currently observing?
He's wearing just basic kind of like traveler's kind of clothes. He's got a deep hood. He's got a wrapping around his eyes that seems to obstruct his vision. You'd think it would. But he just kind of just seems to be listening to kind of the thoroughfare and the people and things going by. He is light blue skinned. His hair is kind of again it's kind of a blue with white speckles kind of thing in it. It seems to be Genasi, for those who are curious of race. He's got a lot of knives at his belt, and he's just kind of idly just seems to be caring for his blade. Yeah. Not in like a threatening way, but just seems to be caring for it.
Much like Yinny actually would, or the
take a look.
Yeah. And then kind of in between them, listening with rapt attention, or actually probably watching the scene that we'll get to in just a second in the arena happening currently, is Seredan.
Yes. Sarah is, I would say, she looks like maybe a slightly shorter than normal, slightly stockier than normal elf. She has auburn, kind of reddish-brown hair that's shaved on one side. And she has a shield on her back, scale mail armor, a small cape, strangely a flute at her side, and a spear, a very fine-looking weapon, black hafted, banded in gold, and with a long chrome spearhead that's kind of fluted and pocked almost. And she's just sort of twirling it idly, but yes, very raptly watching.
Are you like twirling it through the air, or are you just kind of twirling it between your fingers?
Right, and so you'll notice that as she twirls it, it kind of makes like whistling noises, like kind of thing, like it's almost playing music.
Victor will be kind of listening, or kind of turning his head towards the sound.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then your attention is drawn to the battle below as you hear kind of a wooden thunk, and both of your attentions turn to the left, and you see 2 tieflings. Both are red-skinned, obviously twins, carrying longbow staffs, and there is a very battered-looking mechanical construct, like staggering between them with just like a shield and a club, and as one of them kind of moves in, the construct jerkily tries to catch the staff, but it's just a feint, and the other one easily trips it, and then they both cheer and high-five each other for a job well done. Until, of course, the halfling woman says, yeah, you're both really good at taking down target dummies. And they give her the equivalent of a finger in Six Hills, which is the finger. And then Holly steps up and says, "Hey, everybody, we got 2 more." And the twins go, good, we were really itching for a fight and something better than that thing. And the construct kind of shakily gets to its feet and starts rattling its way to the corner. It's definitely not sentient like Bolt is, but it is definitely seen better days nonetheless. And she goes, everyone, I guess, Yenny, have you introduced anybody yet? And she kind of just shrugs and she says, I mean, kinda, but okay, fine, I'll do the introductions. Everybody, I'm Holly, that's Brander, and Brander gives another quick flourish of his rapier. The twins that you see are Malix and Nyx, and then, of course, Yenny. Gracefold here is our resident knife dancer in training, and she kind of twirls her dagger a bit, and as she does, it kind of leaves her fingers and floats up into the air, and then she catches it and kind of does a quick bow. And you can see that this halfling woman, she's got like braids in her
I
hair.
applaud.
Okay, thank you.
What was her name again?
Yenny Gracefold.
Victor will sniff, like not like mockingly, but just like.
Yeah. Okay. Give it a little. And then okay, so let me. I'm going to try to get these names right. Ezra, Bolt, Eve. Thank you. Seredan, and Victor. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I am very bad at names. I probably am going to forget those again. But we got you 2 more. Thank you, everybody, for agreeing to help us out with this project. Our instructor will be very happy. If you guys want to take a moment to get to know each other, we're going to go on the other side of the arena and kind of get ready. And when you guys are, step into the arena. Again, this is going to be a strict, no actual hurting fight. Yenny here is probably the only person except for me with kind of magical abilities that can actually do damage, but we'll tone them down a little bit. So I know, not to be presumptuous, but you do kind of look like you're magical a little bit there.
Yes, you could say that.
Perfect. Okay, great, because we've been needing to do a mage fight specifically. So
How are you supposed to learn if there's no danger of dying?
I'm really regretting doing this.
I was under the impression that it was just two of us versus 2 of them.
I suppose you
more.
learned by ramping up. You know, we haven't gotten to that lesson yet.
All right.
But thank you,
I like this one.
Victor.
Carry on. Yes.
Okay. Good.
No,
I
wait,
got it.
are we supposed to be teammates, or
Yeah.
are we fighting against each other?
No, you guys will be all on one team
Got it.
against our team.
This is getting a bit out of hand, I think.
Malix
I'd say
and
it's
Nyx kind of
exciting.
give each other a look, and then Brander walks between them, kind of slaps their shoulder, and says, "This will be over quickly."
Well,
So
let's
yeah, go ahead and get to know
meet
each
our
other.
new teammates, so we'll go ahead and
For
walk
the
over
pursuit
to...
of education, I think it's fine. I guess.
Hello, boys. Or boys?
Actually, don't have a gender, but
Well met. Nice to meet you all. You probably heard, my name's Seredan. If we're going to be teammates, you can call me Sari. And this is my friend Eve.
Hello.
And I don't know this one, but he's dark and brooding.
It is pleasure to meet each of you. I am Victor. And,
every team needs someone that's dark and brooding.
it
Victor,
makes for more
don't
interesting
mean-
conversations.
I don't mean to offend, but can you...
Final
the
button.
If
eyes.
you're doing something with your hands, I can't see it.
Oh, okay.
We are going
I am
to
blind. I am for all. I can hear you quite well, but I am very much blind.
Forgive me for being insensitive. How do you plan to fight if you cannot see?
That is family secret. It's something that I have had to hone myself and get very, very good at listening to the movements of my enemies.
Sorry to interrupt. I need to get this out.
And at this point, like,
you
I am
are
looking-
incredibly beautiful. I'm sorry.
Offense taken!
Sorry, I'm not good with social, but I just have to say it. But it's on my mind.
No, I'm not offended. If you were lying, I might be, but I got nothing.
I don't.
I mean,
know
I can't
about
see,
lying.
but her voice sounds a little
hard.
softer than yours, so I say yes.
I'm sorry.
I'll side with
Well,
the gruff
Just
one.
kind of like
Keep me in the center.
You have beautiful tusks.
Is this the arena?
Thank you.
too far.
Perhaps we could all
That's
discuss
fine. Perfect.
our strengths. I'm a bit nervous. I'll be honest. Although Sarai is quite remarkable.
Eve, I've seen you in a fight. You have nothing to be nervous about. Let's see. I'm good with the spear. She's good with the sword. You look like you know your way about a dagger, but you
I'm
can't
gonna do
see.
the exact same thing as, even though I wasn't able to hear her or see her. I did want to do the exact same motion that that Holly did.
Like, ooh.
But with a little brandish at the end, with it like landing on my pinky and like spinning it around.
But perhaps that's not such a hindrance after all. How about the two of you?
Well, as you can see, I'm very large.
Indeed.
And,
And in charge.
That usually works to my advantage.
He sounds overly resonant. Different than other people. I don't know.
Do I sound like old time radio?
I know what a radio
Something's different about this one. I can hear it. It's,
I literally walk up to Victor and I grab your hand and I like place it on my arm. Like,
He's
you see-
quite shiny.
he's one of those. Okay, gotcha.
I am a Warforged, yes, I am.
Wonderful. All right, that makes more sense.
I'm not very helpful here, to be honest. I'll just mostly watch while you fight.
Well, perhaps, for your safety, stay behind the big boy.
Well, that's why
thing,
I travel.
the big
with him.
thing.
This is why he hired me, after all, yes.
All right.
Right, so we've got Greeny, Shiny, Blindy,
I don't care
and
for that.
Evie.
I find that a
But
little
no one
bit
else can call her
insensitive,
Evie,
but I'll
only me.
let it pass.
And
To the rest of you, it's
Buttercup? What should we call you?
Everon Frarucha.
You said Faruka in there. I don't know what you expected me to do.
I mean, Evoja Farak.
You may not think you're good at a fight,
Fair
but remember those two
Fair enough.
bandits on the road.
Although I appreciate
Remember
the
what you
effort.
did.
Yes.
Do that.
Necessity.
Do that. Only.
right.
Let's be honest.
Okay.
Okay, are we gonna do this or what, guys? Come on! There's a festival that's gonna be going on soon.
That Brander fellow has a very punchable face.
I thought this was for your grade.
Holly shouts over, agreed!
I might like her more than I thought I did.
I'm grabbing my pen. Sorry.
Okay.
But then you hear Brander say, what? What did they say? Was it about me? So you guys can set yourselves up within 3 squares of the back wall, however you'd like. You can also take a look at Scott's fantastic paint jobs of your other characters, particularly Brander. He is my favorite of the
He looks
of the ones.
very D&D
looks very
cartoon-esque.
punchable.
That's exactly what he looks like.
He's
And-
got the hair, though,
Yep.
of He-Man.
Yeah.
He's got He-Man hair.
It was
He's
totally
definitely
unintentional. I
1980s,
just started
like-
painting and like picking colors, and,
He's
and
very
then it just
80s
kind of
TV.
like morphed into
He's,
it.
is
You know?
He-Man or like a cowboy? I don't know.
He has the power.
Amazing.
And then we are going to go ahead and roll initiative for the first time.
Come on, you
I think I
guys.
forgot how to do this.
I like it.
All right, I'll take it.
Not great.
So you say we
Not a
need
great
to
start.
position ourselves in wherever?
Yeah, within
Yeah,
3
so-
squares
so-
of the back wall.
Bolt literally just like right up front, in front of everyone,
I'm
shield up.
behind Bolt, most
Mason hand.
definitely.
Let's go. You said 3 squares from the back?
Yeah, so I'd say
Okay.
I'd put yourself back.
Okay, yeah, I'll go back one more.
I want to go up.
Or
Okay.
3 squares from the back would put me. I could put
I'll be
Yeah, I'll go here.
Perfect.
I'll stay right there. That's where I wanted to be.
Level 1 fight.
Alrighty.
Somebody's gonna
So,
die.
quick note about this fight is it is non-lethal damage all throughout. You're not, like, if you drop to 1 hit point, or if you drop to 0 hit points, you technically just drop to 1, and you take a
Tap
knee.
out.
Yeah, you tap out.
Yeah, it's the whole
it's
I
not
choose to knock them unconscious
Yeah.
versus
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit him with the flat.
Even
of
your
my
spells,
spearhead.
like you've done enough practice wizard duels that you know how to pull your punches as far as spells go.
hit them really close so I can yell. I said across their nose, not up it.
I will try, Bolt.
All right,
I will try.
so let's go ahead and grab initiative from Seredan.
15.
15. Ezra.
19.
19. Victor.
17.
No dog food. revealed tonight. Bolt.
7.
7. And Eve.
10.
10.
What'd you get?
19.
Nice.
Okay. Just need to do a quick
okay.
sort.
It's better than when we started.
Perfect. Now, everybody kind of gears up. Holly goes, "Are you guys ready? Everyone good?
Let's fight.
Let's fight."
Begrudgingly ready, yes.
And as soon as she says fight, like they all get into a battle ready stance. They look like they're a pretty well coordinated team. Malix and Nyx immediately take their stabs and kind of get them ready in sort of a defensive one. But it's Yinny who actually goes first. And she,
The halfling?
Yep, the halfling.
That's the blade dancer.
Yeah.
Yep.
The knife dancer.
Or the knife dancer. I'm gonna just call it like the blade singer on accident. Like one
Yeah.
time I know it.
Especially if they start
We'll
singing.
all pour out our drinks in honor of
Yep.
of Anya.
So she
Tear.
is going to move forward 6 squares, and as she moves, she kind of points at Victor, and she says, "Brander, take him out first." And she's going to do a special ability of hers that she can do once per short rest, called Call the Shot. So he will get a bonus on his attack roll, and then because they're a team, Brander has a special thing called Center of Attention, which means whenever a positive spell or effect targets him from another creature, he gains 5 temporary hit points. So
Interesting.
obviously, like, they are definitely working together, and she knows exactly who to, like, placate as far as all that goes. And then she is actually going to go ahead and pull out, or she's going to take her dagger, and you can see that she kind of spins it around, and it almost seems to, like, catch on one of her braids as she spins with it. And knife dancing is a very elegant passion for some people, and for others it's just violent. And then she's going to toss her knife out at Victor. So she's going to make an attack roll. Is she within 20 feet of him, or is it going to be a disadvantage?
10, 15, 20, 25.
25. So she's at disadvantage for
Orange
this
on the
attack.
base. That was a good choice.
Yeah, so it shows up better.
10. Does a 10 hit you? Okay. So the knife goes sailing past, and it's actually going to land just behind you. So actually, if you want to go ahead and just set that just behind, because she is a knife dancer. But she did already use her bonus action this turn, so she can't do anything else.
I just have sidestepped it.
Yep. And she kind of huffs a little bit, and she goes, "It was a long throw." And then it's actually Ezra's turn.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Mage Armor on myself.
Okay.
And that's it.
Yep. Okay.
Level 1
Level
combat. I'm just like,
Perfect. No movement anywhere or anything like that?
nope. And then I'm just
Victor,
gonna try
then.
and be small behind Bolt.
Perfect.
So Victor?
Yep.
Alright, I'm gonna pick up her dagger. And I want to...
Go ahead and roll me a strength check, if you don't mind.
Ooh,
If you're
interesting.
worthy.
It's like the
Thor's hammer.
Mjolnir of hammer or of daggers.
No!
Dagnir.
Dagnir.
Come on.
Is it like hovering in the
Actually,
air? behind
make it
him,
a
or-
dexterity.
Dexterity?
Yes, instead.
Okay,
so
so
just
that's
same roll, just
8.
dexterity.
Is it like
8?
into
So
the
it's into the
ground?
ground, but as soon as you reach down to grab it, it kind of goes and flies into the air and then lands back down. And every time like you try and grab it, it kind of just weaves out of your hand. And you can see Yinny kind of giggling as she's just like slightly waving her hand.
I see what
a
you
little
did
bit.
there. But I'm going to throw my blade instead.
Okay.
well, was that considered my action to grab?
No,
Yeah,
I'll go ahead and just say
reaction.
that, like that was just
Okay,
an
so
incidental.
5, 10. I don't want to get too far forward. And I'm going to throw mine at... Did she say this person?
That's Malix and or Nyx.
Nyx. Okay, I'm just going to throw it at Nyx.
Okay. You go ahead and roll with
Is it
disadvantage.
one of those situations where no one can tell which one's which, and they just play it up?
Yep.
Some days
Pretty
they're
much.
Nick, sometimes they're Malik.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter. They're
Actually,
the same
I'm
person.
George, mother.
Yeah.
Disadvantage, so that's a 17 for the first roll, and 16 on the second. So that's 19?
A 19 will actually hit.
Actually,
Yes.
no, 21. 6. Yeah,
Yep.
I can't.
Go ahead and roll me damage.
Okay, so 1d4 plus 3. So 4 damage. But as I take this blade, I kind of like spin it around my hand, and when I throw it, you hear this kind of like mournful cry as it flies in through the air. As it whistles
It's not
like
just
a
mine.
Yep.
I'm not the only one with a singing blade.
And I believe the way
All
that we
weapons
described it
make
is
sounds if you swing them
the
fast
line
enough.
that you send your dagger down, and every square on either side of it, you also have true sight on those squares, right?
Blind sight.
Or blind sight, that's right, yeah.
But it's
Basically,
not,
you're
so,
echolocating as
for
you're
one
throwing
turn,
it
yeah,
out.
for
For
one
one
turn.
turn, yep.
And so I don't see any of the people around her, but I threw it basically in the direction that I hear someone kind of shuffling. And
Yeah.
throw it there.
And you do hear the telltale, ah!
Perhaps we should mention, for those who didn't watch Session 0,
Bing.
yeah, that's right. Preston is
For
playing
us,
a.
it's this way.
Okay.
Preston is playing a
Yes, Preston is playing a special rogue subclass. Well, he will as soon
Eventually.
as we get to level 3.
A homebrew.
A homebrew,
specifically.
specifically made by me. So everything is subject to change, and specifically his character is blind, but has blind sight out to 10 feet.
10 feet around me, and then
10 feet
wherever
around
I
you, and
throw
then
that
wherever.
forward.
What is your blade called again?
Shadow Song.
Shadow Song. Wherever Shadow Song flies. Maybe wherever your blade happens to whistle as well, because you picked the exact same aesthetic, and I love it.
I like it.
But yeah, so
Hey,
so
My weapon makes sounds too. It's just more like thud.
that's a type. That's a type.
beautiful
Of sound.
sound. It's a beautiful sound.
Yeah. So if you're
Also
curious
left
about
out.
that,
We all should that sound stuff.
wait till level 3 to really know what the subclasses can do, or just watch Yinny on her next turn. But okay, is there anything else that Victor would like to do?
I've used my move out. That's
Okay, and then you cannot recall because you're not
yet.
a true
yet.
full-on bonded knife dancer.
it. Still in there.
Yeah, so you use Shadow Song. You just have your regular dagger.
Yep. Yeah, I've got
Perfect.
3 more.
And then it is going to be so after Victor, it is Seredan.
I kind of say, I thought we were going for the one with the punchable face.
I'm afraid I can't see them.
I say 5, 10, 15,
The bad
20,
haircut.
25. I couldn't have gotten to him anyway. So, yeah, I'm just going to run up on what was her name?
Yinny?
Yinny. And I'm going to make a couple of attacks with my spear. Actually, I take that back. I'm going to, as a bonus action, I'm going to cast Hex
Okay.
on her. So I'm actually, as I'm running up, I'm going to pull out what looks like a little teeny eyeball out of my component pouch. I know, that's
Eat
the
it.
material component. and yeah, just say Umbar and kind of wave my hand at her, and she's sort of briefly silhouetted in a kind of a pinkish glow.
Ugh, weird magic, man.
Say, don't worry, it only tickles. And then as an action, I'm going to make a jab at her with my spear.
Okay.
That's a 20 to hit, a dirty 20,
A dirty
unlike
20?
my natural 20s.
Those are very dirty as well, though.
Depending on the night.
That will hit.
After a long workout.
All right. And that is for, oh jeez, 7 damage.
7 damage.
And that's all.
Okay. Yeah, you definitely smack her good in the side, and she kind of stumbles, and she says, "Oh crap! Too far forward. I'm too far forward." And then she kind of calls out for help, and Brander's like, "I'm on the way."
I've got a punchable voice too.
So he's going to
Every
move
Chad
up
in
30 feet to Seredan.
Even his voice is punchable.
Okay. Like this or like
Yep.
this?
One more forward. He's the center of attention, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And he is, as he comes in, he kind of does this another flourish with his rapier, and he slides in and kind of goes for the quick stab against you to kind of push you back, or not push you back, but kind of get you to stumble back. So let's see. And he gets his bonus on this. So that's going to be... That's a dirty 20 to hit.
Yes.
Okay. So he is going to do 5 piercing damage to you.
Oof.
Well, bludgeoning, but yeah, it's like a actual fencing duel rapier, right? Where it hits you and kind of makes you stumble back a bit.
Has a little tiny fist on the end.
Yes.
I said,
and he rises to his feet and he says, "What ho!" again.
It's like a cartoon with a cork.
I say,
The cork on the end.
you were supposed to go for that one. Pointing over
Plans
at
change. Besides, we got people for that. Eve, it's your turn.
All right, so I will move. Right next to Ugly Haircut.
Okay.
And
Wait, what?
Does he have a mullet?
Yeah, he's
It's
got
not a cosplay wig from his...
No, it's not. But it's not his usual hairstyle. He cut it for the role. Yeah.
It's a bowl cut.
I'm sorry, but hairdresser. All right. Terrible role.
I will shortly.
It was kind of like...
It is kind. You're right.
I
It
mean,
was
you need
kind
to
of on
read
the
about
edge.
It's
cocked.
yeah, sure.
Okay, better. That is 17 to hit.
Wow, session
17.
1 already bludgeoned your dice rolls.
It was cocked. It was like
was
sitting in the
cocked on the
corner.
edge.
So it hits, and you come down, and he just gives you a wink, and then you slice right through him, and you can see that he's actually a few feet back, and his mirror image kind of ripples and fades away, and he goes, "Never in the same place twice, honey."
Please don't call me.
I told you, even his voice is punchable.
Yep.
It really is.
That's just my voice. You're saying that my voice is punchable.
Now the shoe fit.
Oh. So next is going to be, unless there's anything else you'd like to do.
No.
Okay. I think he moves 5 feet with that. No, he just basically slips. He basically used his, and again, these are like very weakened versions of other abilities that something like a sword mage might have, or like a knife dancer. So he's used that for the day. But next is Malix and Nyx, and they actually go as a team. They're a team, and they are going to use their because they're within.
Don't say darkness.
How much is it? 100 feet of
Don't
each other.
say
Yeah.
blind
Yeah.
sight.
Yeah. By the way, this is your optimized party that I'm working off of here.
Level 1, come on!
So they're going to use their double movement to each move 30 feet. The one on the right is going to move on the other side of Yini, basically surrounding Seredan. One more, yep. And then the other one is going to rush forward for Victor, right there. And then they are going to use their dual action, and the one on the left is going to make an attack with his quarterstaff against Victor. And that is a 12 to hit.
Doesn't hit.
Okay. And then the one on the right, my right, camera, whatever, yep, thank you, is going to actually use his action to defend Yini. He's basically going to kind of give her dodge, basically, by aiding her in that regard.
Okay.
So, because they're technically supposed to be the tanks.
All right.
Okay. And then Bolt. And
I
then
see all this kerfuffle going on right here.
Yep.
Kerfuffle.
And I'm just like, those two look like they can handle themselves in a fight. I'm going to help out the blind guy. So I'm gonna move up, and I'm just going to, since this is just a friendly thing, I'm obviously not going to be like, smash his head in, right? Type
Yeah.
of thing. I'm going to try to like swing for his leg to catch it and like flip him type of
Sure.
thing. So that would just be my great club. Crit.
Oh my gosh.
Crits.
So crit, but 23.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Natural. An all natural crit.
You got the bottle.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. As long as it's empty.
Most of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he likes he chews the lids off and then he licks whatever drops are left inside. 8 damage.
It's crit, so
Double.
Oh,
Magic.
Magic.
so 9 plus 8, so 17 damage.
17
So I just catch him.
I thought you said you didn't club him on that.
I know. Well, I wanted to show you that my weapon makes sounds too.
You literally probably blew out his leg.
I was gonna say I tried to like catch his leg and flip him in the air and then kind of whack on the stomach too.
that's exactly what happens, and he hits the ground. He's prone. He lets out an oof, and he kind of just taps on the ground twice, and he goes, "Sorry, brother, it's up to you." And Nyx kind of just shakes his head and he's like, okay. Okay, perfect. Anything else Bolt would like to do?
No, that's
Okay.
it.
So we can actually remove Malix from the board. He's going to kind of drag himself away a little bit, clutching his stomach. You hear a slight retching as soon as he gets around the other side of the
Puking
stands.
up blood.
Yeah.
Before you go, can I have my knife?
It's not. It's over there.
Oh, thank you. Perfect.
Okay. And then it's Holly's turn, who kind of just shakes her head a little bit, and she's going to. You see that she takes a moment, and then she kind of gets into this quick stance and dashes forward right next to Brander and Yinny. And she gets to about 10 feet, and she launches up and comes down and kind of slams her hand to the ground, and this kind of wave of green chi energy blasts everybody. So that is a
Friendly fire?
This is her. All enemies within 15 feet of her need to make a quick constitution... Oh, no, strength saving throw, please.
So you're out of it, and you're out of it. Constitution.
Natural one.
That one, 4,
24.
24. So Bolt is okay, but the two important ones were Eve and Seredan. Both of you...
Wow!
Wow! Really? For Holly, yes. You said my voice was punchable. So I'm not giving you any punch. I'm not throwing any punches or pulling.
I am.
Yeah. So both of you need to push or be. You're both pushed 5 feet away from her.
Diagonally that
Yep.
way and one
Really.
that way.
And then each ally within 5 feet of her, within 5 feet? No, within 15 feet, can move 5 feet in any direction. So Brander is going to shift, and he's like, hang on,
There?
we're dance partners. And then Nyx is going to move between Seredan and Yinny.
Never in the same place twice, honey. I will never forget that.
Well, Nyx is already there.
So annoying.
He's going to move one over to the left a little bit more.
That way.
Yeah, right there.
Gotcha, okay.
Yep. Basically, he kind of stands in front of Yinny and starts twirling his staff really quickly to kind of create a barrier. And then she's panting a bit, and Yinny goes, "You got anything else?" She's like, "A little bit." And she kind of does this kind of Tai Chi move, and this little green wave of energy sends a little bit of healing into Yinny.
Okay.
And that's literally all of her key points. So that is healing. You
So
didn't,
glad
you
I
didn't
got to
think it'd be
be
that easy, did you?
Attractive dance partner.
Oh, hear that, guys? The cute one says I'm attractive. And then it's actually back up to the top of the round with Yinny, who's feeling a lot better. And she's going to say, "Holly, duck!" And she's going to shift back one towards me. And then she's going to use her bonus action and recall her knife. So the knife kind of and heads back towards her. I think she's trying to hit Victor and Eve. So she probably has to shift a little bit more
One
to
more
get
over.
because it has to be in a line from Yep. So the
Maybe
two of
there.
you need to make me a dexterity saving throw. Thank you.
I hear it coming a mile away.
Yes.
Step to the side.
8. So you step to the side.
Doesn't
You
19, so
you completely like hear it and just easily duck it, and then it flies right into Eve's shoulder and kind of scrapes along her armor. So you're gonna take 5 damage from
Okay.
that. And then it hits back into her hand, and she does kind of, as it hits, she does kind of a backflip with it, and when she lands, she hucks it back out again, trying to hit Eve on the return as well.
All right.
This is just going to be a regular knife attack, as you know. And that is a 22 to hit
That will hit.
for another 5 damage.
Oui.
Okay, and then her blade is
So good.
her blade is behind you now, so she did throw that knife out there.
So actually it would be probably... Yeah, probably here.
Yep, just in the next open space.
Right there.
Yep, works fine. You probably want it on a square, just because if she has to return it, it's got to go in a line.
Gotcha.
So, perfect. So that's Yinny, and then it's Ezra. Ezra, things are you're not really sure how they're going at this point. You saw one of your enemies, the enemy team fall down, but it also looks like Eve is hurt, and everybody's kind of been moved around. Seredan looks a little hurt as well.
I call out, Ezra, remember the two thieves.
I just say, I paid you to protect me, not the blind man.
And I'm gonna move there to get a little bit behind you, and I'm gonna cast Firebolt at the annoying guy.
Thank you.
Punchy face.
Punchable face.
So that is only a 12.
12 will miss.
Okay.
He kind of definitely ducks to the side, and he actually takes his rapier and runs it through the firebolt. Yes, it melts it a little bit, but it looks really cool, at least to him.
Heat metal.
Heat metal.
And then he puts it like close to his face and gets good lighting.
I will avenge my fallen love. Still playing the part. Anything else that Ezra would like to do?
No.
All right. Victor.
Alright, Victor.
I'm going to, again, like kind of in a dancing, prancing motion, kind of roll around to the back and say, "May I cut in?" And I'm going to stab him with my dagger.
Perfect.
Natural 20.
And he's already used his after image effect, so there is no concern about reaction.
8 total damage, plus my sneak attack.
There you go.
Ooh, which
Plus
is
it's a
That's
crit,
also a crit. So
Oh, yeah.
6
So
plus
6
5,
plus
so
5.
11.
11. What did I say the other one?
So 19.
19.
I'm assuming that you are doing non-lethal damage.
I am doing non-lethal. Like I'll kind of like scrape it across, and then as I like step in front, I'd be like, "Pardon me," and I'm gonna hit him in the back of the head with the back of my knife.
Yeah, he falls. He hits the ground in a lump.
Punchy face.
So far,
Never begin a dance with a woman that is unwilling to see your face.
good advice.
Brooding,
Truly.
but
Yeah,
good.
consent.
Really good advice.
I like it.
Or retcon or something.
Yeah.
We're like, oh yeah, that's fair.
Perfect. Seredan, it is your turn.
Okay. I'm just going to take a
We
couple,
can remove Brander from
a
this.
couple of shots at Tank Boy here.
As Malix comes out and drags him away.
You're out of here.
So, yeah. This is a 19 to hit.
Roll me with disadvantage, please, because he is taking
Okay.
damage.
8.
8 will miss.
Okay, bonus action.
Okay.
With the, I'll kind of try and whack him with the pointy end and then turn around him.
So that he actually does the full block, but it does stop that twirling.
Okay.
Thing.
Disadvantage as well?
Yep, disadvantage as well because he was
Okay.
taking that
Yeah,
dodge.
I'm gonna miss. It's 7.
Yep, and then coming around the other side, and he goes, "You got some skill. You got some formal training."
I say, you could say that, yes.
All right. What are you doing tonight?
I say, I have a feeling that you'll be unconscious, so it doesn't really matter.
Burner.
He just kind of chuckles. Yeah, okay, fair. Eve, it is your turn.
You gonna be at the mixer tonight?
Yeah.
All right, we're going.
We're throwing
for
a rager at the other hill.
tiny lady.
A little bit more jerky. Okay. And she eeps a little bit. She says, sorry.
You should be. Yes. 17, 22.
22 will hit.
Oh, you hear the jerky come running. Gotcha.
Yes.
You want
Is 12.
Okay. You full on kick her in the stomach, and she just like flies backwards 5 feet, gets knocked over, and she taps out really quickly.
Nice.
Eve, is there anything else you want to do, or are you just right where you want to be?
That's where I want to be.
It's a pain in the ass, though. It gets everywhere. Just
Then
like,
it
as soon as
is
it touches something, it just
Nyx.
flows.
And he is just going to stop his
So I got all my hands.
defensive
Just-
dance, and he is going to try and strike at Seredan.
Okay.
Alright.
And he rolls a 20, dirty 20.
Come on with all the dirty 20s. Yeah, it hits.
These are the first time he's ever rolled these dice, too.
Yep.
Loaded dice.
Dang.
It's good for me.
Don't know what you're
For
talking about.
once. Yeah.
5 bludgeoning damage.
I'm out. After my
And he says, sorry, hon. And he just full on gets by your defense and just kind of whacks you into the temple a little bit and drops you.
I say, it's all right. I'm really just a distraction at this point.
And he completely turns around and he sees that Yinny has been taken out. Oh crap! She's gonna be so pissed at me. And then he is actually going to move to try and engage with Eve and block Holly from everybody else's line of sight. So just move him to the left one, please. And then it is Bolt.
Come on, Bolt. Do it again.
I'm
Super
gonna
bark.
I'm going to move forward. And best defense is a good offense, right?
Yep.
And I'm going to try hitting him again. Great club.
The other twin.
Yep, that's one.
Do you just recognize him as the same person?
Yeah, I thought I already took you out. Another friend.
Maybe I should ban your dice. Yes.
Oh.
He only has the 1 hit point because him and
I
Alex
literally do the
share
exact
hit
same
points.
thing, like same move and everything. Flip him up in the air, thunk,
You can hear Alex say, "Watch out, brother!" Oh,
and I just go, "You fall for that every time."
and he just kind of stumbles off. Okay, and it's just down to Holly, and she takes stock of everything, and she goes, "Well, I'd love to just surrender because this seems like bad odds, but I really can't." So, and then she just kind of thrusts her palm forward to try and smash into your armor. That is a 14 to hit.
That will miss.
And she hits your armor all right, and kind of why can't I get that? And then back up to the top of the round, Ezra, it is your turn.
All right, I'll firebolt her.
Okay.
Just burn her a little bit.
It's a singy bolt.
Just a little.
Sinful.
21.
21 will definitely hit.
Okay. For 9 damage.
Okay, she is actually still up. You hit her with the blast, and she does that kind of monk catch thing where she grabs it and she quickly extinguishes it and then goes, "Oh! Why?" Good one though, Victor.
It is dishonorable for me to gang up on you at this point.
Okay.
I will not engage in this dance.
You
I
just-
will hold my action for if anyone attacks me.
Okay.
I say,
You want to go try and retrieve your dagger?
Chocolamano!
I'll go get it.
Get me back in!
You're like over here.
Yeah, I'll go
Okay.
pick up my dagger, kind of dust it off a little bit, and start wiping it off with my
All
shirt.
right, cool. And then who's next? Seredan's down. Brander's down. Eve.
Well, Victor is more noble than I. I will be attacking.
Get him, Bolt.
That is a 17. to hit.
17 will hit. And she has 1 hit point left, so how would you like to just quickly
Dispatch of her.
dispatch or please don't kill anybody.
I'll just
That's
take the
fine.
sword and just keep pushing it until she says,
I
"Uncle."
give.
Okay.
Thank you. That was a great fight. And she bows respectfully. Yeah, yeah. Like you can tell, like her hands are like very singed, but she actually goes over and as she does, she kind of green energy washes over, and she kneels down next to Seredan and kind of places her hands in respectful areas. Sends a little chi energy through you, so you can jump back up at 1 hit point.
Okay. By the way, that was Ezra being
Oh,
super
that was
nervous.
Ezra. Okay.
The fight. So glad the fight is over.
Victor wants to approach him and say, "It was a good fight." I will bow.
And she bows as well. Brandon goes, "You guys got lucky," and then you all hear a.
What was that? Do you need to be punched in the face again?
He goes, "You want to go one more time? Come on, Holly, give me some more healing. Come on, let's do this. I can take him on one-on-one." And then you all hear a voice that says, "That's enough of that." And you all turn around and you see an orc in kind of long white robes, and he kind of steps onto the field. All of the college students stand up straight and kind of bow, and they say, "Instructor Cryer." And he goes, "That was despicable, Brander. Malix, Nix, you're too cocky. Ninny, you actually did a really good job. And Holly, your support was impeccable." And then he turns back to Brander and he goes, "But you know better than to try and egg people on when they've beaten you in fair combat." He's like, and I don't want to hear it. So here's what we're going to do." And Instructor Cryer grabs out a pouch, and he tosses it to Bolt, and he says, "There's 20 gold in there for each of you. I believe that's what Brander promised you if you won." And he goes, "Well, they never took that bet." Quiet.
Whoa, wait, how much?
Thank you, sir. We didn't catch your name.
Crier
Crier.
is the name.
Did you
And I'm surprised you don't recognize me, Bolt. But, I mean, I was much younger back then. And you do get a little bit of a flash of a young half-orc running up and down the kind of, not really the hills, but sort of the hills outside of Six Hills as you're running past. And you had a nice little conversation with this orc child and everything.
Oh. It has been, what, 20 years? Maybe longer?
40.
40. Forgive me, I've been all over the place in the last little bit.
I know, you were traveling. You didn't even have time to stop by Six Hills. Well, I guess it wasn't quite Six Hills back then, was it?
No.
Well, no, it was. Sorry.
Yeah.
40 years ago. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm getting my own dates. I'm old. I'm 40. I'm at least 40. I'm at least 45 years old or something like that. And he goes, but it's good to see you again. Glad to see you're still moving about.
Oh, yes, better than ever, actually.
Good.
I take it you are well also?
Yes. Thank you very much. As you can see, teaching young upstarts that their place in the world is not at the top.
I do recall you saying that you did want to study some martial arts when you were younger.
Studied and mastered.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. And he turns to the rest of you and he says, you are all impeccable fighters.
I do start handing out the gold, by the way, just to make sure everyone's good, sir.
You like put it in your hand and just like, you know, count it quickly.
I just kind of like, there's 20.
Yeah.
There's 20.
Yeah. I'm surprised at all of you. You're from the Vanguard, is that correct?
Indeed, but not many outside of the mountains would recognize me as such.
I take my knowledge of different martial groups seriously. And we've had a few Vanguard actually come out here and teach every now and then.
Really?
So, yeah. Not in a while though. So it's nice to meet you.
Well met. Seredan. Stonewall.
Of course. And I don't believe that I've ever seen your technique before. Where did you learn it?
From a good friend.
Okay. He clearly recognizes when to end a conversation, and he says, and of course, I always will recognize a member of the Eight Rings, and he gives you a deep bow.
I'll clear my throat uncomfortably, but I will return the bow.
And then he stands up and he notices it, but he just kind of moves on and he goes, and I believe you're a wizard of a college up north. Is that correct?
That's correct.
There's certain patterns that you can pick up.
Yes, Talzam Academy.
Really? Prestigious school.
Thank you.
I'm surprised a mage of your caliber wasn't picked up by the Arcana.
In another life, perhaps.
Of course. Well, as a further apology for the delay in all of you getting to the festival, because that is what you're here for, correct?
Indeed. In fact, I believe we might get to judge the Brubash.
Really?
And I kind
And
of
he gives you like another once over, like, you two are really young for being that famous.
I just pull out this, I guess, script missive that we have from...
Okay. Do you want to read it out?
I will have to pull it up on my phone, but yes. Half a moment.
While he's
this
pulling that
out.
up, I do want to approach the knife dancer. Just kind of like...
And she's kind of just like, oh, that was a bad kick. Oh, hey,
My apologies. You fought well, and that technique back there, I thought was quite good.
so did you. You danced pretty smoothly through that crowd.
Thank you.
And that's coming from a halfling. I can dance through legs like nobody's business. So that's impressive.
There.
Did you get any formal training here, or?
I'm afraid I have not. I got it from from my family.
Oh, okay.
Family.
And she kind of gives you another once over, and she notices a few extra things about you, and she goes, "Oh, you're one of them," or
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I hope I didn't offend you with my dancing.
No, it was quite good for the training outside of there. I'm curious, who taught you?
Oh, I'm learning here at the Millibrax. There's a specific instructor that teaches knife dancing. He's not a member of your sects, but he's pretty good nonetheless.
And his name?
His name is Billix.
Billix.
Yep. Billick's strong arm.
Thank you for the information. This is helpful to
No
me in
problem.
what I'm looking for.
I noticed that you're not bonded with that blade yet. Is that still something you're trying to work on? Maybe I could give you a few pointers.
Yes. I'll have to think about it.
Okay, cool. Well, if you want, I'll be up here. Here, and she pulls out like a scrap of paper and a quick quill, which is just like a quill with ink already in it.
I think he's getting a number.
And she writes down her house number and hands it to him and says, if you ever want to learn a few techniques, just stop by.
Oh dear.
Thank you.
To everybody else, it might look a little less chaste, but like both of them are very much like, yes, knife dancing is life. Like
There's
yes.
nothing but knife dancing.
The rest of us are like,
No. Ezra's just like, that's a perfectly good exchange of information.
Yep.
Well done.
That was the proper change.
I lean over to Ezra. Is this some kind of mating ritual?
I'm afraid I don't know anything about.
Well, you and me both.
If she had to, I'm afraid I can't see. Can you tell me how to?
Oh! And she just like her face goes completely red. She kind of hides in her braids a little bit, and then she tells you the house number and apologizes
Not a worry.
profusely.
Not
Yeah.
a worry. Thank
Okay.
you. And I'll retreat back to the...
Yeah. Meanwhile, would you like to read out this script that
Yes.
you were given to come to Six Hills with and hand to a specific person?
It says, to Baelin Heck regarding Arcanum request. Esteemed Baelin Heck, thank you for your recent correspondence and offer to host a representative of our organization at Six Hills to judge this year's Brew Bash competition. While we here at the Arcanum Infinitum must remain impartial to all matters, I have an offer for the perfect substitute for your request. The two distinguished individuals holding this letter, I'm going to mispronounce your name.
Evosia Ferricu.
Evosia Ferricu and Seredan Stoneward, recently assisted the Arcanum in the evacuation of Potter's Path, when a void rift opened and an invading force of undead was unleashed onto the unsuspecting village. While I was unable to grant their individual requests in payment for their heroic actions, I have offered them compensation in the form of paid travel to attend your festival. Please consider one or both of them to judge your competition in my place, and know that they may stay the duration of the festival with the cost being charged to the local Arcanum barracks. Best of luck with this year's festival. Perhaps next year I will be able to return and participate. Warm regards, Justice Galina Validana, 3rd Middle Court, Arcanum Infinitum.
Did you read that out loud in game or just?
Crier probably opened it up and read the missive, if you're okay with him
Yeah.
reading it out loud. Yeah. And he says, wow, Potter's Path, that, I heard that there was an attack there recently. You were there?
Yes.
Indeed. We were there. Some purple line appeared in the air, and a bunch of undead things started jumping out. And Eve here escorted people to safety, and I started doing what I do best, which is poke things with Craggy here. And well, when the dust settled, we were still there, and the undead weren't. And
All right.
next thing I know, we had an audience that I'd been waiting for with the Arcanum.
Well, congratulations. That's a noble feat.
Most
I'm sure everybody in Potter's Path is appreciative of that.
They seemed to be.
Do you have any idea what caused this purple? What did you call it?
He rolls
A light or a tear or?
Yes, I believe someone referred to it as a void rift. Is that right?
Void rift. It was very strange.
If anybody would like to roll me an Arcana check to know what that is, you can.
26.
I've never seen it.
13.
Yeah, you've definitely heard of void rifts. Bolt, not so much, like you've heard inklings, but you've had like first-hand education on void rifts, which are these tears in reality that random creatures from other realms come through, whether or not it's a specific monster or if it's a group of random thugs that just see the opportunity of a lush plain and try to attack it. It seems in this case it was undead specifically. So, and they creep up every now and then throughout Aneria, but you've never heard of one so close to home before. And Potter's Path is it's a small village, but it's kind of it won't be on the map actually, even. But it is on. It's probably on the southwest bank of the lake that surrounds the beacon. It's pretty close to where the beacon is.
Gotcha.
It's a small fishing village there. And he's like, "Wow, that's incredible. If you'd like, Holly," and she comes over like immediately. Yeah. Would you show them to Baelin's Berth, to these two to the Baelin specifically, and then get them to the finest inn in town, and we'll pick up the bill? And she's like, "Yes, absolutely." And he says, "Again, all of this is because I apologize for the behavior of my students. They will be enduring a little bit more training before the festival."
Well, at least one of them knows how to hit. I'm like kind of wincing as I hold my side.
Was this not part of an
Instructor
an
Crier.
assignment?
It was, and they failed.
I
At
see.
least a few of them did. And Brander is very humbled at this point, and he looks over and he goes, "You three should be running," and they all just like get up and immediately start jogging away. And he goes, "Don't worry, they won't get far."
I don't suppose you would happen to have a salve or something on you that I might be able to patch up this bruise?
Of course. And he actually, you see he does kind of the same technique that Holly did, and he just kind of slams his fist into the ground, or not fist, his foot into the ground as he kind of pumps his fist a little bit, and this brilliant wave of green, like, chi energy emanates from him, and you're all restored back up to full HP. All of your spell slots are restored as well.
Yay.
That was just a sparring match, so we'll go ahead and just say long rest right here.
I want that spell.
So before we head out, I want to walk
Spell
up to
of long
Instructor
rest. Spell
Crier
of
and
long
say,
rest.
please forgive me. My memory is not what it used to be,
Of course.
but I am very pleased to see that you're doing well.
And I'm pleased to see that you're doing well. A little rustier than I remember, though. Maybe you should get that looked at.
That's good advice. Thank you.
And then he goes, "Now, if you excuse me, I have some students to teach." And he kind of does this quick like crouch and then jumps into the air, and he just leaps backwards and does like one of those kung fu like slide backwards. And by the time he lands, he's in front of Brander, and they all just like stop and immediately book it the other way.
It's like his hands in his pockets, like
Yep.
just not even, like,
Yep.
He jumps straight up in the air and just kicks, and then goes
He
forward.
definitely has like, he's an orc, but he definitely has like one of those long beards, and he does the whoosh with it, you know, like, yeah.
I just say, "Nice to meet you, Kaya." Okay.
And Holly says, "If you'd like, I'll take you all to Baelin's Berth."
Excellent.
I need to talk.
And don't forget the bit about the finest inn in town.
Oh, of course. I promise you, I know the perfect place.
Let's get to the inn, and then we can talk in private. Okay,
Holly takes the party down the hill once again, apologizing for Brander's behavior as she goes profusely. It seems like she's very apologetic, but she just can't seem to remember any of your names. She gets them close, mostly. She calls you evil at least one time, and then extremely apologizes for it.
Evil Evie.
Amazing.
Yep. But she actually leads you down another switchback road until you get to Baelin's Berth. Unlike Bordergrad,
Is this the whole party that she's leading?
Yes, this is the whole party. Yep.
Okay.
Do you need any help getting down the hill? She does ask that
Like
specifically.
initially, I'll be fine. Thank you.
All right, perfect. And then, are you still got your spear just kind of strapped to your back, and the flute is, and everything is all there? Okay.
As I'm walking, though, I am spinning my blade to try
Okay.
and make it easier.
I kind of look and I start to try and like get it, see if I can harmonize with it. He's like,
And I'll kind of
Roll me a quick performance check.
I pull out my tambourine and
not great. It's a 9. We're new. We're working on it.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay. It's not the greatest. Holly herself is kind of throwing your rhythm off because she's humming the tune that the guitarist or the lute player was singing to her earlier, and then she gets to she starts getting to the end again, and she just kind of shakes her head like, "That ending, I swear, I've never heard so many rhymes for that word before."
Oh dear.
But then you guys get to Baelin's Berth. Unlike Bordergrad, Baelin's Berth has a more natural look to it of the village. A scattering of tall and short buildings made of wood and stone with tiled roofs line a main thoroughfare that seems designed to compensate for a massive amount of carts and foot traffic heading towards and away from the town. And again, this is that big path that leads up between the two furthest hills, closest hills to the long road,
Baelin's
and then from
Berth
there
is a
everywhere.
big bowl in the middle, right?
Yep,
Valley.
it is the valley village in the middle, or town in the middle.
So if you're a girl that lives there, you can be a valley girl.
Yes.
Actually,
Oh, I think you had more.
no. I'm
The
my valley girl with my mouth full.
Mhm.
Nope.
You gotta cut that out there.
Rewind.
For real. We're back in.
Edit.
Nope.
So many things I can't say. Here, take tonight's first epic dice. Which-
For the record, I did not mean it that way.
No, of course not.
Sure.
But sorry, I've lost my train of thought here. The only oddities are frequent steps that lead down to underground doorways, either residences or with signs posted on the steps declaring the trade plight inside. As you move past one of these stairwells, the door swings open and half a dozen goblin children come running up the stairs, laughing and chasing one another with small sticks of chalk. And then a rather tired-looking goblin woman in a dress shortly follows, keeping an eye on them while letting you pass by first. You can hear her shouts in the goblin tongue at the children, and even those of you who don't speak the language can recognize a good admonishment when it's shouted at belligerent kids. The main square of Baelin's Berth, which Holly explains quickly, is the only way that you can get anywhere. Like this is the place to come if you need anything, or if you want to get anywhere in Six Hills. You have to come through the main square.
Like all the paths.
Yep. Everything converges here, and if you want to get anywhere in Baelin's Berth, basically you have to go through the main street to get to it. This is a bustling hive of trade and commerce. That's compounded by the fact that dozens of goblins are scurrying around with armfuls of decorations and party favors, trying to get the festival ready before it starts in the morning. Above the main square is a gigantic lattice work of lifting cranes and whirly clamps of all sizes. Now, lifting cranes obviously are just like, manual, I guess just lifting. You all know what a lifting crane is. I don't need to explain
It's
it
a
to you.
big bird that's strong that
Yes.
can lift things.
But whirly clamps are the true marvel of artifice that is here, and they're basically just big giant claws of metal with helicopter blades on top that are held aloft by magic. And somebody will call one of them down, and it'll pick up a crate and then move it along. And it just seems like somebody's attuned to them and directing them, almost as if it's an air traffic controller.
Amazon warehouse. Got it.
Yeah, pretty much. And then most of the market booths are simply occupied by a goblin or pair of goblins speaking with individuals and writing in ledgers before calling a team to handle the freight being imported and exported. And Holly says, if you need anything, go talk to the ledgermans. You can ask them specifically what they want. And while each town around Six Hills has their own little market, you talk to them, and if they can't find it for you, it can't be found here. They literally control pretty much all the commerce.
Good to know.
Yeah. However, once the festival starts, there will be a couple booths set up along the main street, just with kind of trinkets and stuff in it, just for fun. So be on the lookout for that.
I've got 60 gold burning a hole in my pocket at this point.
Well, that's quite a bit. Maybe you can pay for your own room. And then she just kind of laughs and moves on. But as you're about to leave, the sound of a clearing throat can be heard behind you all, and Holly goes a little pale. She turns and bows immediately at the speaker, and she says, "I am so sorry, Ceci." And as you all turn around, you see a rather she's plump. She's not large, but she's plump. Goblin woman in fine clothes, standing there with kind of her arms crossed and her foot tapping, and she's got a younger goblin that looks like one of her daughters flanking her on either side, and they've got kind of these big giant handfuls of flowery wreaths and everything. And big giant natural 20s.
Handfuls of flowers. Handfuls of natural
Epic
20s.
dice
We are
for
on
me.
something
No.
tonight.
Dirty jokes each epic
We
dice,
are
apparently,
on
is what we're learning here.
Great, good to know.
And she says, "You thought you could slip something past me, did you?" And Holly goes, "No, I forgot that you wanted to greet every festival goer as they entered town." And she turns and she goes, "Welcome to Six Hills. Are you here for the festival?"
Yes.
We are.
Wonderful. Excellent. Well, my name is Ceci, and I'm here to be your official greeter, and I'm the coordinator of the festival. If you would all please kneel down.
I knew.
Okay.
All right. For what purpose?
Well, we really can't reach your heads from down here, now can we?
My apologies, of course.
And as you guys kneel, the two goblin daughters like immediately rush forward and they put like flower crowns on each of the women's heads, and then so your two, I think, yes, and they give you like woven bandoliers of vines around your wrist. Yeah, you're right, not you. They give that to Ezra and to Victor, and then they look at Bolt and they just kind of like hesitate a moment. They look to Sassy and she goes, one of each. And they put a flower crown on your head and then a woven band on your wrist. And she says, let's
Thank
see
you.
here. There's something specific about these.
I feel so fancy.
She says that these are from the Druids of Little Gale, and they will maintain their quality for about a year, at which point they'll start fading away unless you get a Druid to put some extra magic into it. So I hope you enjoy that.
Lovely.
little gift.
Thank you so much.
No, these are beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, and one more thing. And she reaches into a pouch and she pulls out what looks like a coupon book, and actually is. And she hands one to each member, and she says, "These are just a few little free items that you can get at the different stalls starting tomorrow. There's free drinks in there for all of the different competitors in the Brew Bash, and of course, if you want, there's Meadstead mead, or whatever." And then there's also there's a coupon in there for there's some great candy vendors, and they may be able to get you a little bit of delightful treats.
What about Nico's sugar bombs?
Yes, that page 3 is Nico's. Yes,
Excellent.
he's giving out free sugar bombs this year for everybody.
Ew.
So have you been here before?
Oh, I haven't, but I was told to stop by Nico's.
Oh, perfect. Well, you've got friends who have good taste. Nico's is the best. And she says, if you have anything that you need, come see me or any of my clan. And she goes, Baelin clan. And they all go, yo. And it's like half of the goblins in here like raise their hand. And all of the ones that are decorating. And she says they'll get you to me, or they'll direct you to the Baelin, or if it's just something simple, they can help you themselves.
Miss Ceci,
I hope
it is.
that
Yes.
I bend down and I
Yes.
thank you very much for your hospitality.
Most
You're
of the
welcome.
goblins.
I am very gentle
Yeah.
on the handshake.
Very much so.
So Baelin, I have to assume that Baelin Heck is part of the clan?
Yes, he is 43rd Baelin. Yeah, goblins sometimes don't live very long lives, unfortunately. But he has been a wonderful Baelin for the clan. He's my husband. Yeah, and are you looking to speak with him at all?
Whatever is a Baelin.
And she goes, you are new here. And like she gets a little giddy at this because this is a history lesson for her. And anybody who can roll history will already know this story. In fact, anybody who's proficient in history probably just knows the story offhand. She says, well, back when everything was started, when everything kind of came to a head and everybody started fighting, a goblin named Baelin kind of stopped the fighting and got everybody to sit down and talk together. And it was, unfortunately, after the passing of his dear wife. But he became the first mayor, I guess is what you could call it, of Baelin's Berth, named after him. And instead of calling it a mayor, we decided to call it a Baelin in honor of him. So,
Wait, this was 60 years ago?
yes, this was 60 years
And
ago.
Baelin Heck is the 43rd?
Like I said, sometimes things happen to goblins.
Sounds like a dangerous job.
You know what? Actually, none of them have been assassinations. Just sad accidents.
Well, I kind of say under my breath to Eve, I'm like, oh, so they say.
Are you sure your family isn't cursed or something?
I mean, we could check, but
That might be something you'd look into, just in case.
yeah, probably.
Probably these.
And she looks at one of the daughters, and the daughter writes it down really quickly in a notebook, and then kind of slips it away. No, not that. She's never really thought of that before. Yeah. And like as you guys are like talking about this, actually, one of the whirly clamps comes down, and you hear no, and it starts picking up a goblin and dragging him away. And it's like, oh.
That wasn't Baelin Heck by chance, was it?
No, he's currently speaking with our resident Justicar. trying to figure something out. Was there something that you needed that I can help you with?
Well, perhaps.
Yeah, we've been given this document.
Oh, and
to.
May I?
Oh, of course.
And she opens it up, and she takes half a second reading it, rolls it back up, and she goes, "You're the judges! Oh, absolutely wonderful. I will get this to Baelin. Where are you staying?"
At the finest.
Finest inn in town.
Indeed.
Supposedly.
And she smiles, and then she turns to Holly and she says, "The bull's whistle," and the bull's whistle. All right, perfect. I will have the Baelin come by as soon as he's available. Okay?
I like bulls and whistles.
Well, you'll love the bull's whistle then. If there's anything else, if you excuse me, I'm very busy. I have a lot to do, and I see some more people coming in.
Thank you, Ceci. It was so nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you. And she gives you all a very polite curtsy and everything. And her daughters do awkwardly as well because they've still got bundles of flowers in their arms. And then they all kind of just rush off towards the next people coming into town. And you can hear her say, "Welcome to Six Hills!" And then Hallie says, "Ceci is a lot, but we love her."
I love her too.
I'm still bowing.
Is she gone yet?
Yes, she's gone.
Oh boy. Okay, and Holly says, "Let's get you to your inn." So after Ceci leaves, Holly says, "If you'd like to come with me, the Bull's Whistle is just down the street." So she leads you through. Anybody who wants to, it's busy streets, but she kind of navigates them with a monk's grace, and hopefully you all can follow along, or at least people move out of Bolt's way. And then let's see here. So the Bull's Whistle is a standard inn-tavern combination. The sign over the door, which showcases a bull's head with smoke coming out from its ears, shows the way into the main building. A large 2-story bar and restaurant packed with all manner of humanoids. Holly waves at a few that must be locals, but there are just as many faces that seem to be from out of town that she doesn't know. In fact, you see a couple Etiquathan in one corner, kind of just standing awkwardly, looking around. Again, they just kind of look kind of bull-headed, not bull-headed, but dome-headed, I guess. They're kind of buff-looking shark people, and they're actually pointedly ignoring the ramblings of an Axolotl man who's just kind of excitedly talking to them about his latest journey down the streams and everything.
And now they can breathe air.
Yes,
Okay.
both the Etiquathan and the Axolotl can breathe air.
What are
They're
the
both-
Axolotl?
So the Axolotl are a race of they're
Humanoid axolotls?
they're humanoid axolotls. This one in particular only has 2 arms. Sometimes they can have 4, and they are very good at water crafting, which is just turning water into actual tools and stuff.
Are
And you
they
can see he's
all-
even got a little band of water.
Are they all really cute?
Oh, adorable! Absolutely adorable. About the size of halflings, pink skin. They've got little frills and everything. Don't pick them up and hug them. This one's got actually a pretty long tail, and they're using it as sort of a seat, and everything. And you can tell how long they've been alive by how long their tail is. Yeah. So he's definitely pretty old. But the Etiquathan are pointedly ignoring him. But they're probably the most odd feature in such a landlocked town.
And again, for those who didn't watch Session 0,
Yeah.
shame on you, but they're like shark people.
Yes. Yep. The males look like great whites or bull sharks, and then there are no females here, but they look they have nurse shark colorings, tiger shark colorings, that sort of thing. So yeah, cool. And the men are very. If you want a little bit about them, I guess they're very argumentative. They don't get into fights that often. They don't physically fight that often. It never comes to blows, but they love a good debate. So yeah. And there's a bunch of other different races around here. You've got your standard goblinoids, orcs. There might be. I mean, trolls are probably a little too big, but there's a minotaur bartender who's kind of watching over a waitstaff of a bunch of barmaids and everything. Probably why they call it the Bull's Whistle, at least partially. And one of the barmaids rushes over, and Holly grabs her by the arm, and she kind of snaps out of her reverie, and she goes, "Oh, Holly, I didn't know you were coming by yet." And Holly goes, "Oh, I decided to come by early and just wait around. How's it going?" She's like, "Oh, I'm almost done with my shift." And then Holly turns and she goes, "Everyone, this is Tess Darnathel. Tess, this is
Eve.
Eve,
Sari.
Zeri, Victor, Ezzy, and
Was that a stab at my accent?
Nuts. No, Bull. I got the last one. And Tess kind of chuckles and she goes, "You'll have to forgive Holly. She's never really been good with names."
That's okay. I think you just gave everyone a fabulous nickname that I might have to use from now on.
Feel free. So what's going on? And she's like, "Oh, I'm taking them to the inn portion and everything. They're being holed up here for the festival." And she goes, "Oh, great. Well, let me drop this off and I'll just come with you guys." And she kind of moves off, and anybody who wants to can roll me sort of an insight, I guess, would be a good one here.
18.
Anyone who's curious about Tess?
I am.
Yeah. 18.
Sure.
16.
16.
3.
3.
9.
9. Neither of you two really notice anything out of the ordinary. She's a human.
My passive
Did you-
insight.
I rolled a 2.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't really, yeah. You two, and specifically you kind of recognize this, she's actually, she has the same kind of demeanor, the same kind of complexion and accent from somebody from Terrebonne.
Ah.
Yeah, she's all the way from there. And after a few moments of dropping off ale and talking to a few people, she comes back and hooks her arm in Holly's, and they kind of lead you to a back door. So let's see here. If anybody has anything they'd like to ask, you can, as we're heading that way.
So, Tess, I can't help but wonder, are you from Terrebonne?
Yeah, you're good with accents, huh?
Well, I've been living there for a little while.
Oh yeah, I can hear it a little bit, but I don't really I can't really pick up where the normal accent is from.
Oh, here and there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm. I hate this. Sounds like I'm bragging. I'm the daughter of the nobles of House Darnathel.
Really?
Yeah, I'm here training as a bard.
Really?
Mhm.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Do you sing? What do you play?
I haven't really decided yet. I've been dancing a lot. I've really been enjoying the dancing, but I haven't really come to terms with what exactly I want to bard, I guess is the term. If you want to use it as a verb. I haven't really picked yet. I have a little bit of a flair of illusions, so I might do something with that. But it's one of those things where I've just been kind of playing it loose. I guess undecided is the best way to describe me.
Well, I'd love to see you perform sometime.
Oh, absolutely! I'll actually be one of the people performing the reenactment tomorrow.
The reenactment, I'm assuming, of the Battle of the Six Hills.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be playing one of the warriors from... I've rehearsed this a dozen times. Little Gale. I'm going to be a Little Gale. Yeah. So if you guys want to, stick around for that part, it'll just be in... Well, you'll find out where everything is, I'm sure. But yeah, I'll be there. And Holly, I think, is playing a very important role. And she kind of rubs shoulders with Holly, who kind of sighs and says, this is really bad. I'm playing Baelin's wife.
Oh, you
And
die.
Yes, that's basically what happens. But it's great. It's not really that big of a speaking part at all.
Too soon.
I'm excited, but I feel like it's just that every year they make somebody dress up kind of in like a goblinoid outfit, and it feels really wrong. But this year I've been trying to convince them not to do any of that, and I worked them down to just face paint, and I feel like that's not enough.
Cultural appropriation.
But the thing is, like, none of the Baelin clan seems to hate it. They love whoever plays Baelin and his wife every year. Yeah. So I don't
Well,
really
it
know what
must
to
be
do.
a great honor.
Yeah. And she, as you guys are talking, she leads you through this big crowded restaurant, and they get to this door and open it up, and you can see that there's a long stretching hallway. And as soon as everybody's through, the door kind of swings closed behind you and locks, and all of the sound from the restaurant just goes away. And it's just a nice, quiet hallway.
So, you're all the way from Terrebonne. That's
Yes.
quite a ways to go just for bar training. I heard
Yeah.
they have pretty good schools in Terrebonne.
They do. It's just I wanted to get away. My family's my family had a lot of expectations for all of my siblings, and I felt if I didn't get out of there soon, my mom would start having those expectations for me.
Forgive
So-
me, I mean no offense, but isn't it a little expensive for a liberal arts major?
Well, again, it sounds like I'm bragging. My family
family's
is
really
rich. Yeah. They control a lot of the water trade out of Terrapon, actually.
I see.
Is any of your family coming to watch you in your performance?
Oh gods, no! I would absolutely not tell them, even if they were inclined to come to Six Hills at all. So, yeah, they're just gonna stay away, and then we're just gonna keep it that way.
If I knew my mother, I would tell her when I performed.
And she kind of gets a little somber there.
What?
And I'm like, oh, crag.
What happened to your mother?
Sorry, I'm not good with... never mind.
I have a high charisma and a low tact.
Mm-hmm.
So
Fit right in with this party.
I have no diplomacy.
Pretend I didn't speak. I'm sorry. That's
So
a
the,
downer, as they have told me.
yeah, and it kind of creates this little lull in the conversation as you guys enter into the other door.
It's okay, friend. Not everyone has parents.
This is why I like to travel with you. I don't have to worry about what to say.
I'm so sorry, Ezra.
For what?
clearly there are issues buried very deep.
Yes,
Very
I can
deep.
see that. We can talk about it later. Anyhow.
Anyway, and they open up the door at the other end of the hallway because the conversation took that long, and it kind of reveals this very immaculate-looking marble lobby of the inn. There are some glowing orbs hanging in the air that are illuminating in various colors of soft light, and there's a very beautiful elf woman kind of sitting at the reception desk, as it were. Yeah, and she was that to the elf woman, and she says, "Welcome to the Bull's Whistle Inn. How many of you will be staying?" And Holly says something quick to her, quick hello in Elven. So who speaks Elven? There. Okay. So the two of you hear her say, "Hello, Ilithway," and the receptionist says, "Hello, mistress." And then they kind of move back into common really quickly. And Holly says, "I will be needing 5 individual rooms, one for each of my friends here, and their tab for the festival will actually be picked up by me." And she goes, "Very good." And she starts writing things down in the ledger. And she turns around and she says, "That's my apology for Brander."
I
Have your
really
own room.
don't think that's necessary.
Just make sure that.
No, I do.
Go right
I feel really bad, and I want to make sure that you guys are taken care of as much as possible. I want this to be a good experience for you, and I know that talking with Brander is not a good experience to begin with.
It's very sweet of you. At least let the Arcanum pick up our tab, because that was the agreement when we came here.
Roll me a persuasion check. See if you can persuade her.
Beep, 15.
Okay, fine. And she turns around and she nods to Elithway, and Elithway nods back and makes a quick adjustment, and then she kind of puts 5 different keys down, and she goes, "Take whichever one you'd like, and then take whichever room you'd like."
I say, oh, I haven't been pampered since I left the courts of Taria Moon. I'm dying for this.
You're all the way from Taria Moon?
Well, you could say that. Most of my life, actually, I've been in, Malagoth City. But originally, yes, from Taria Moon.
Those are 2 very different places. How
Well-
did you manage to live in both?
My mother was an elf from the forest. My father, from the city. There was a war. I don't know if you know much about that, but anyway, it's sort of a long story. But I grew up with my mother in the summer court, and after she passed, moved to live with my dad in the city.
Well, the summer court has always been very good friends for me and my family. So,
Yes. Where are you from?
I'm actually from Bleakwood. And she turns to Tess, and she goes, "This does sound like bragging." And she says, "I'm actually the daughter of one of the Fall Court."
What was her name?
This is Hallie that's speaking.
Hallie is.
Yeah, this is Hallie.
Hallie, not Holly.
Holly.
Or I've been hearing Holly. Maybe
I've been
it's
hearing
Holly.
Holly as well.
It is Holly. Yep.
Okay.
Sorry, if everybody,
H-O-L-L.
it's actually H-A-L-I is her name. But if you've been healing Holly, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Um,
The woman who's been leading you around everywhere.
got it.
She's the daughter of what
what?
again?
She is the daughter of a member of the Fall Court, which is sort of like the summer court for the Western continent.
Sounds very Fey in origin.
It is.
And she's from Bleakwood?
Yep, Bleakwood Forest, which is the largest forest on the largest forest if you don't count a jungle as a forest, because the Emerald Wilds is definitely not considered a forest by most scholars. Yeah, and that's where the Spring Court is. I'm trying to remember exactly where I'm having these courts located, and then there is a Winter Court, and it's in the marshlands.
Okay.
Yeah. But they're like all very independent courts. In fact, I think on the World Anvil currently, and that may change by the time this episode comes out, there is only the Summer Court listed, but the other courts are just as important. They deal with other Fey matters in those other areas.
I'm sorry, but I didn't catch your name to
The receptionist?
Yeah.
And she says Elothe.
Elothe.
Yep, so E-L-O-T-H-E, and then you can put like a umlaut over the E or something if you want to kind of signify that.
Well, it's very nice to meet you all, and I would love a bath.
Like I said, pick any room.
Which one
It
of
will
these-
open for you.
Which one of these do not have a window?
Pick any room. And she smiles kind of knowingly, and it's like almost like, I know newcomers to town. And she goes, trust me, the room will be exactly what you want it to be.
I make sure to grab the 2 keys with numbers, or however they're identified.
There is no identifying marks on these keys.
Okay.
Yep.
Hand one to Ezra.
Yep.
I pick the fanciest looking one.
Okay. They all look the same.
Hey.
Um,
In
so
that case, third from the left.
third from the left, yes. And so Holly and Tess kind of say goodbye. They say, we'll see. We'll maybe catch you guys at the festival. If you see us, just come say hi. And then they kind of go arm in arm again and start like conspiratorially whispering as they head back towards the restaurant proper, or restaurant tavern proper. It's kind of both.
Okay.
So you guys can head up to your rooms. And as you all like pick a random door, and you kind of get up to that second level, and there are just like 5 doors, and you just walk up to a random door, and as your key gets close to that door, it shifts. Like you can see kind of this magical shift, and you turn the key and open it up. And for Victor, there is no window. It is a very dark room. You two have joining rooms. And there's a giant bath in there for Seredan.
Room's
And,
all bath.
With
little
like
bath. Yep.
with almost a canopy of trees, it seems, inside the
Yep.
decor.
It is
Being held up by
exactly
lovely
the room
folks.
that you want it to be. It's
Grand
very
library.
homey for Eve. It's very reminiscent of home, so it's very nice, and you can all just kind of move in and close your doors, or you can commingle or do whatever you want for the evening.
I do need to talk to you
Yes.
before we meet with everyone again.
Does your room have a fully stocked workbench as well?
Library. Very similar.
Interesting.
So
A workbench of the mind.
Exactly. Eve and Sarah mentioned they were part of the Arcanum and
They were
representatives. That's not good for me.
I do agree.
We need to leave.
You hired me to get you to 6 Hills, correct? And while I wouldn't charge you any further to protect you while you're here, I think we need to see where their intentions lie. But I do agree that we should use caution around them.
All right.
We can definitely keep quiet about why you are traveling this direction.
I'll follow your lead. That's what I pay you for. All right.
But if it gets too bad, we can get away.
Thank you.
Or at least I will make it so you can get away. How about that?
Sounds wonderful.
All right. Well, I guess pick a good book, and when they are finished, we can
All right.
See what everyone
Enjoy
else
your
wants to do.
bench.
I will.
Is there an oil bath for Bolt as well?
There's an oil, like an old-timey oil can.
That's the equivalent of like a sponge bath for.
Now it's either the one for lever or it's the one that goes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Wizard of Oz style.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Is there anything else that anybody would like to do? So you're gonna take a bath.
I'm soaking and burning some like cedar wood incense and just.
They didn't have incense, but there was a cedar tree or a chair, and you're just like,
small
good enough.
twigs.
A chair.
Burn it.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, just Eve, alone in her room, would like to send a message to her employer.
All right. So you quickly write up a nice little letter, roll it up really tightly, and put the ring that you have down on the table. And what was the command word that I gave you for that?
Hold please, and I will tell you.
Well, while she's looking, what is Victor doing?
Yeah, what is Victor doing while we're looking
Base.
for that? Base?
Mhm.
Yeah, so you say base and then take the little note and just kind of push it through and it just disappears. And then you just pocket the ring again.
Nice.
Okay.
Victor, he'll want to take a soak. He'll find that it's completely dark. He won't burn any stuff in there, but he's going to go ahead and try and take a bath. And if someone could see, like, as he like kind of pulls the hood back, the shroud that's kind of around his head, it's like kind of, you get this, like, almost like it's cutting into the top of his head.
Mm-hmm.
But he always keeps it
Way
kinda
too
covered.
tight type of a
way
deal.
way too tight.
Mm.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I would imagine that your room has several wind chimes in it that are kind of
Yeah,
constantly
soothing.
clacking against each
Yeah,
other in a
so it's
soothing way.
easier
Yeah,
to see
and
and
it's
hear.
obviously, like, despite it being very dark, you can clearly see everything that you need to.
Yep. And there's something on the door that whenever it opens and closes that it will make a noise. So.
Yeah. Okay. So after everyone has freshened up, you guys can head down, have dinner, or you can go to bed. Up to you. If you
Yeah,
want
I'll
to.
go knock on Ezra's door from the adjoining door.
Would it have been about an hour?
Yes.
Can I
Yeah.
look at Arcane check?
Absolutely, you can. As
Okay.
you start doing some research.
8. So
8. Plus your that's plus your Arcana.
plus my Arcana. Okay, so that is 15.
15. Okay. Go ahead and mark that down, and you'll
Okay.
just have to keep track of that. That's a surprise for later, guys. Everyone has secrets, and it's delightful to me.
Whispers.
Yeah, after
Back to the homebrew.
After-
I missed it.
after I'm freshened up, I'll do the same. I'll actually like go out and like knock on everybody's door and be like, "Anybody hungry? I'm famished. I bet the food here is wonderful."
Let me see if
Just to
Ezra's.
see if anybody answers.
Yeah, I'll answer the door and. Yes.
Hi, shiny. Sorry, no, you probably don't like that. I'm sorry. Nuts. Okay, bold.
Definitely not nuts.
Yeah, not that one.
Let's not let that stick.
Bolt's like the one that I like kind of don't want to mess with. I'm like slightly intimidated by. So I'm like, do you eat?
Yes.
Excellent. Like normal food?
Sometimes.
Well, let's go get some. Where's your friend?
Let me go see if he's available, and I will.
The motherless one.
You son of a motherless goat.
I will go see if he's available, and we will meet you in the restaurant area.
Wonderful.
I'll come
Victor,
out.
are you there?
I'll come out and I'll be.
Evie?
I'll be doing
I'll come out too.
Are you just in a towel, but also with your hood on? Like, what do you want?
It's perfect. No, I'll come out and kind of go like.
Even your bathrobe has a hood.
Pulling it up, and then I want to pull out a. I have a deck of playing cards, and I'm going to basically do like a single hand shuffle.
Very
It's
cool.
just kind of like. I could go for some food.
Yeah, let's see. I hope they don't serve bull at the Bull's Whistle.
I really
That would
thought
be
it
sad.
was a bowl,
Bowl.
not a
No.
bowl.
Now I'm just imagining the bartender.
Maybe
is
it's a bowl with horns.
It could be.
But perhaps someone is playing a whistle. I'd love to hear some music and get some food. Let's go.
I'll follow.
I'll go get you, see if you're good to go.
Slap my book shut and be like, yeah, I'm coming.
Once I hear footsteps, I'll follow.
Okay. Perfect. So you all head back down the stairs. The Elithway kind of gives you guys a polite nod. She seems to be half paying attention to everybody coming in and out, and then half paying attention to her book, which just seems to be open to some sort of... it's some sort of equivalent to like Sun Tzu's Art of War type, college. She's obviously a student here, as probably most of the waitstaff is. And you go through the small tunnel again, and as soon as you open up the door, it hits you. That sound hits you like just a wave. You can hear the bright laughter. You can hear music playing. There's definitely a good band on stage that's kind of going through their routine. Very standard. Play
that same song
again. A little bit of jizz music. That's actually what it's called. Don't at me. That is what they call it in Star Wars.
It is. Stupid George Lucas.
Wow.
Yep.
How do we make jazz sound worse?
Make jazz sound like space. All right.
You're gonna get a lot of comments about people who say jazz is amazing. I don't know what you're talking about.
It is amazing.
I actually do like jazz. That's just the joke, right? It's so terrible.
Yeah. And you all kind of find a table that's got 5 open spaces with it. And a barmaid comes over to you and she goes, can I get you anything to drink, eat?
I gently sit down on one of those seats, and you can hear just like, and I'm just like, okay.
And she goes, actually, could you stand up for just a second?
Sure.
And as you stand up, she takes the seat and she moves it off to the side, and she brings one of the chairs from the corner that looks like it's got metal reinforcement on it. Yeah. I mean, she does the pickup, but she's definitely like waddling it over, and she sits it down next to you, and she goes, there you go, that should actually hold your weight.
It's the inverse kitty chair.
Yeah.
I say, whatever your most expensive food and beverage that you have available for all of us.
Yes, it's on the Arcana.
Wow. The most expensive.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And in fact, I don't even want to know what it is. Just bring it.
Okay. Great. Perfect.
I would
And
like to know what
expensive.
it
Well,
is.
hold on.
means
Are you
gross.
sure you don't have any allergies?
Well, I suppose I don't. Anyone else?
Well, Victor, not Victor. She doesn't know your name. I know your name. She turns to Victor and she says, "It's actually a very nice. They call it. It's a dwarven meal. They call it borscht. It's really good.
I'm like,
I'll take 2.
actually, in that case, could you bring the second most expensive thing? I've had enough dwarven food for
It's just a
lifetime.
light
Trust me.
portion of borscht. It's the second
It's it's a half borscht and a salad, but it's a dwarven salad.
It's the dwarven surf and turf.
And she goes, "Oh, great! So that's 4 most expensive meals, 1 second most expensive,
Yes, please.
and then the most expensive drink."
Speaking of which, what is I heard there's the competition. What is the crowd favorite? I'll take one.
Oh, the crowd favorite? Well, I think this year is. Oh, you're putting me on the spot here. Actually, shoot, I had it.
That's our job.
Okay, we can
That's
cut
our
it.
job as a
Yep.
player.
We can definitely cut this.
No,
But you guys will know.
we're not cutting this.
It's okay.
No, we're not going to cut this. This happens in every group.
It is going on.
Get used to it.
What's going on? Where am I? What's happening?
Who am I?
Tell me.
What am I doing?
You're in the red room. You're
Cognitive dissonance is what they call it.
Yes. So here we go. And she goes, well, actually, that would be the most expensive this time. Chateau Morlaine has coming out with a great wine.
Is it against the rules for judges to partake of any of the brews before the competition?
No, because any of the brews that you partake of won't be their special reserve that they're going to be showing off.
Excellent. Yes.
You guys are judges.
Well, yes, supposedly.
Potentially.
Yeah,
One
of
of
us.
us.
Oh, perfect. Congratulations. That's a great honor. I'll go get your food. And she scurries off.
Miss, actually,
Yes.
can you just bring me... This is a weird request, but I'm wondering if you have any kind of oil or anything in just a big tankard.
I will see what I can find.
Lantern oil, lubricating oil, 40 weight, whatever you have.
Of course, and she
Thank you.
she
Just gonna
she
go-
heads off.
Whatever they're frying stuff in, she's gonna like dump it, still piping hot, into a bowl, and like.
The hotter the better.
So she
That means
leaves.
that every time I burp, it smelled like French fries.
Yeah.
I mean, that's normal, I think.
Yeah, good one.
So she leaves, and after a few minutes, the band kicks up a rousing rendition of "Ode to the Berth," which is just kind of like a local favorite. You can hear the cheer. Again, BERTH, not BIR.
That's what Torrey had playing when she had delivered
Is
her
the
first
tune
book.
like? It's just a tune like
women.
What's the breathing
It's
technique?
nice and soft, and all of a sudden it's like.
Breathe. The beat is the
Yeah.
the breathing.
It's just we will rock you.
Gosh.
I will never think of that song other than now it's the Berth
That's
song.
the Berth
Yep.
song.
Yeah.
Okay.
Going to Lamont's
Oh,
class,
man.
they started hearing.
Wait a minute. I just cannot.
Take all the technique.
Thanks, Freddie Mercury, for the great Berth song.
So after a few minutes and 2 verses of "Ode to Berth," the waitress comes back and she brings a very elaborate-looking bottle of wine that seems to almost be like a double helix glass, corkscrewing in on itself, and with like a central pillar rising between the two, and each of them is just like full to the brim with almost. It almost looks like somebody is getting ready to pour white and red wine together with the way that the colors are, but as she like pops the cork, all of the colors go multicolor for a moment and then go pure red. And she sets that on the table, lets it air out a little bit, gets some glasses, and then each of you gets a bowl of borscht, except for you, who gets a nice. It's actually a fish steak. So
Wonderful. Perfect.
because they won't serve regular steak here.
I'm glad.
And
But-
my oil.
But the various fish people. Oh yeah, and your oil, I forgot. Which is fry oil, by the way. We're good. That's canon now. The various like aquatic humanoids here are eyeing that, but they're actually eyeing it like it looks very tasty.
Yummy.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Yep.
fish are friends, not food. Or
Fish
What do you
are
think they
both.
eat in the ocean?
Yep. Fair. It's like when Aquaman goes into a sushi bar. It's like, yeah, obviously.
What do you think he eats?
Yeah. And then she goes, let that sit for 2 minutes, watch the fireworks, and then feel free to pour.
fireworks.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Chateau Morlaine goes all out with their vintages. This is about 32 years old, and it is one of my favorite years of theirs.
What happens if we pour it too soon?
Then the fireworks might end up coming out of your mouth.
Oh, fair.
Maybe wait.
I could wait.
And she says, if you need anything, just give me a holler. And she heads off.
Well, I can't see the fireworks.
Eve,
Yes.
you work for the Arcanum.
Oh, no. I
Oh.
don't.
What do you do?
A contracted work of sorts. My employer, he actually works, he's somewhat of a private investigator. I'm really his page boy.
Really? That's interesting. I find myself in the bounty hunting. Is he someone I might come across?
Not necessarily bounty hunting, just taking care of things outside of what the Arcanum is capable of doing.
Fair.
Which
Respectable.
is-
Well, we're based out of Tereban, and there are these noble families that are always getting themselves riled up about one thing or another. So it's mostly working with them.
That's the reason I left. Too much infighting amongst the houses.
He's
Sarah,
quite toxic.
What about you?
Well, let's see. I believe you heard part of my story already.
Mm-hmm.
Have I told you about Craggy? What's this? This is amazing. And she pulls out her spear and she goes like this. And she goes. She kind of looks at it for a second, and all of a sudden the spear just goes. It like makes a sound and it like turns into a flute. And she's like, She starts like playing a little tune on it.
There was a little bit of a lull in the music at this point,
Yeah.
and all of the musicians pick up on that and quickly move into a good, rousing story about Malik the Melodious. Actually,
Excellent. Yeah. And so I kind of play and I kind of listen, clap along, and I guess then I sort of realize that you're still like waiting.
I'm just like staring at you like.
Go on.
Right.
But I'm too rude to, or I'm too nice to say anything.
Has anyone heard of Malik the Melodious from the songsmith of the?
Anybody?
History check.
History check. Yep.
I'm sorry, I don't.
Natural 20.
Natural 20.
13.
Yeah, it's actually it's an old folklore tale. If you want to go on to the World Annual page, you can read the full story.
Right.
But basically, he is the choir of the crags. He's basically this gnome that was able to move mountains with his music. And as you're kind of getting ready to talk about that, all three of the little spouts on the wine bottle start like firing off little tiny. Phew, yeah, phew. And it's various like grapes, and then you see like this dragon figure swooping down, and it kind of smashes the grapes and turns it into more wine that pours right back into it.
Awesome.
And then after it ends, everybody around you kind of like claps too, like, oh, that was great. Yeah.
It's the most expensive.
I grabbed the oil and I set it from me. I go like this.
Pop.
It just goes. Boop. One bubble and I go. Okay.
It's a very expensive oil.
Oh, and then it pours itself, by the way.
Excellent.
Yep. It pours 5 glasses in case you. I think you can imbibe,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you just don't need to.
Yeah, I just like right in the middle of my story. I just like I'm not waiting. I pick it up and I start drinking.
I
just take a small like little sip.
It is delicious. It's very airy. Nice little woody taste to it. And then you can actually
Other wine words.
the other wine words. It almost like it sparks the tongue a little bit. Almost like there's still a little bit of firework left that dances along your throat as it goes down.
Bolt really likes it.
Yes, absolutely, for sure.
I would say that. Well, I don't really think I chose, but I can see why it's the most expensive. Let's see. Right. So. You've heard of Malik then?
Yes.
So you know, songsmith of the steppes. He is sort of famous, I suppose, in the Malagoth Mountains. The story is that he was the artist of, I guess you'd call them sort of an association of demigods, the Choir of the Crags. Anyway, long story short, I was on patrol for the City Watch. I'm part of the vanguard there. And I looked over one day, saw a mound of dirt, thought it might be a corpse or something, dug it up, found this flute there, reached in, grabbed it, and suddenly heard a choir of voices singing in my head. And,
Are you sure it's
Sarah,
not cursed?
why were you digging up what you thought could be a corpse?
well, I'm
It's
part of the
a
City
job.
Watch. I thought
Obviously.
maybe crime scene? I don't know. I was a little disappointed, actually, that she was the
Maybe
flute.
crime.
Crime.
Crime? Crash can. Right.
Yeah, so Sarah obviously, like,
Uh-huh.
keeps nothing close to the vest.
Yeah.
Right? She's just like, she's just spilling her beans.
I thought it was a dead body.
She's like, it was a flute, I grabbed it, heard the most amazing song in my head. when
And
I
the song
did.
kind of, you can almost hear like a little bit of a choir picking up in the
Yes.
background, almost emanating from her flute as if she were playing it still. Which I wish we could use the actual like
Yes.
the song. I think that specific version is probably copyrighted by the people.
Maybe
who sing
maybe we
it,
can
but
link to it. In
Yeah,
the
we need to. Yeah, we
video
need to
description.
get a link
What
to it.
what the choir of the Crags sounds
Yeah,
like.
it's a really cool compilation. So
They were spouting off some mumbo jumbo about trying to bring balance to all things, and I decided to. Well, they asked me if they could be my patron. I'm their artist. I said I'm not really much of an artist, except for unless you count the spear. And as soon as I said spear, it turned into the most beautiful weapon I'd ever seen in my life. And I thought, well, sounds like a great adventure. They said this cracking bit, head east, and maybe you'll find some answers. I talked to my dad. He talked to the king, and well, here we are.
And you named it Craggy.
Well, yes, the Choir of the Crags.
I love it.
Choiry didn't have the same ring to it. And this
agreed.
is supposedly the physical manifestation in the material realm or something like that. So
Blah, blah, blah.
yes,
I love
exactly.
it.
The choir
You're
ends
accurate.
abruptly as you basically blah 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 over their entire being.
Seems like that might be important.
Well, yes, no, we've become very close, Craggy and I. But yeah, I suppose I'm on a bit of a quest for them. I'm not quite sure what it is yet, but I'm seeking wisdom to the east, looking for answers, not finding any. But how about this wine, huh?
Quite the segue.
It's
Victor.
very red.
Seredan.
Victor, you said you are.
Good job.
You said you're bounty hunting. Is there someone in particular you were looking at?
Not right now. Right now I'm still building my portfolio, so trying to get my foot in the door.
You trying to build your Facebook? Like you cut people's faces off, put them in a book.
Precisely, is in a way. I mean that would be more efficient. They don't have to carry as much, but
Yeah.
What was all that bit about the rings? 9 rings, 8 rings?
yes. Well,
Do you have any rings?
not on my person. So these rings of which you speak, I don't know how much anyone may or may not know.
Yeah, I think actually everybody but Eve would know of the 8 rings as a band of like mercenaries in some capacity.
Right.
Nobody would know too many details though, and then of course Eve would know nothing about this.
Specifically, I come from the 8 rings. I am on a bit of a hiatus from the fourth ring. My mother is actually the prime of the crimson or the ruby wing. So I'm here just basically trying to expand my knowledge. Some of the things that I cannot learn from those within my family. I'm trying to better that and hopefully bring some of that back at some point.
Victor, have you always been blind?
This is more recent, the last few years.
Was there an accident?
No, you can consider it as kind of part of my training.
Oh.
To hone all my other senses, and to curb some of my sharper.
So it's temporary.
It is, as far as I know.
Fascinating. That
But-
sounds like a bit of a harsh training.
Are you
It's
just
not quite normal, but yes, it's necessary.
are you just wandering the world and finding
Trying to
adventures,
find
or
others,
do you
there
have
are
something that's specifically in mind?
there are some that have forsaken the creed, and some of them were high standing. They had good understanding of the way that things work, and I'm hoping perhaps to find
kill
some
them.
and learn. No. It's,
This isn't
if,
Highlander.
if it's if it were a mark, believe you, it would be done honorably. We would give them a writ. I would explain that I am there to kill them, and that they have 48 hours to prepare, and it would be very.
Oh, so you give them a head start.
Is this fun?
They will not get away.
Is it a game? I'm confused.
No, it is part of my creed. It's something that we don't. Everything must be done with honor.
Well, I don't begrudge you that. There's many different cultures in this world, as any of us can attest to, even at this own table. So
So
if that's what you like, I guess.
Bolt, how did you come to be in the employ of Ezra here?
Where did we meet exactly? What was the town?
Probably just outside of Willow Creek Hollow.
Yep.
I was traveling past Willow Creek Hollow on my way to Six Hills, stopped in for some supplies, and
Are you from Willow Creek Hollow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yes, you would. Yes. We would have discussed that. Yes, you are from.
Well, I know I'm from there. I'm just looking at you if I can tell them that.
Can I make an insight check?
I have zero like skill. You don't even need to make an insight check. Like, I suck at social situations. I'm so
which is
obviously
probably why we discussed like, yeah, if anyone asks, just yes. And he wanted to head to the festival as well, and so.
And as you know from our fight, I'm not good, and he's big.
Big, yes. I wouldn't say that though. That was some nice little scorching.
I missed, and then I kind of helped a little bit, but
Well, so let me tell you this story. There were these two bandits about 10 miles away from Willow Creek Hollow that tried to ambush us. I was distracted by one of them, who kept dancing around me, the little bastard. And out of nowhere, I hear a explosion behind me. And when I turned around, there was nothing left but boots of the other one. So he can handle himself in a fight. He just needs a little bit more confidence.
I don't confess to a murder, but something happened.
It was self-defense.
Yes.
And that is well within the laws of Aneria.
It depends on who you ask.
I've heard of Willow Creek Hollow. Is there anything interesting there?
There's a great school for the arcane in Talazam Academy.
You were studying there, right?
Yes, I went to school there I was actually trying to become a law mage, but things don't always go according to plan.
There's also a really nice creek that runs through the town.
And a big willow.
Yes. Hence the name.
Hence the name,
Yes.
right.
Is the willow hollow?
No, the hollow is the part where
Well-
the two hills go to the middle and you live in the hollow.
They've never cut it down, so we don't know. It could be solid, it could be hollow.
Do most people there practice magic?
Just like everywhere else. There's a concentration of magic users for the school, but
And so you were traveling to Six Hills just for the festival, or?
yes.
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 Insight check.
Yeah, definitely. Like, he is definitely looking at Bolt for every answer.
Am I?
Like, what am I allowed to say?
Yeah.
Bolt?
Am I?
Yes.
That's a 14.
Yeah. What was the what's the question?
I mean, I'm just trying to tell if you're lying,
Oh,
basically, or if you seem to be hiding something.
I feel I'm hiding something, and I suck at it.
Okay.
But I'm also really nervous.
I say.
About it?
I just say.
I am not lying. Bolt is telling the absolute truth, right? They are both heading to Six Hills, right? But I don't know if there's anything further.
Bolt, do we trust them?
I say.
I don't know how to understand trust. Do you
I
know
say.
that?
Definitely some repressed issues with this one.
It's
I
the
mean,
mother thing.
they helped
Yes,
us
probably.
in that
Well,
battle earlier.
if you don't talk
to help
about it, it
themselves.
really can-
Neither of
You
them,
would know.
neither
Yes.
of them seem to be direct employers or employed by the Arcanum. So
You don't. No ties to the
Well,
Arcana
no,
other than reward.
Right. We were. Well.
We just so happened there was this horrible undead with the things.
Right. You heard that bit, yes.
And we just so happened to be in the right place at the right time, and I'm quite handy with a longsword, and as you see, Seredan is quite handy with her
I don't
Cory,
know about that last show.
with
I didn't
Craggy.
do much.
with Craggy.
Yes.
Can I do an insight check, listening for people's breathing or potentially their heartbeat changes when these guys are talking?
Sure.
Oh yeah, my heart. You.
Yeah, absolutely. You hear that.
What about when I'm listening to them? I rolled an 18 plus my intelligence. This is investigation or perception?
It would be.
Insight.
It would probably be. I would say probably a perception, just
Okay,
because you're
perception.
like listening.
So it's a 20, and I'm listening to these two
Okay.
just to see
Um,
if they're quick, their pulse is quickening.
I'm,
if they're changing.
how would you guys react to that?
I
Like, how are you
I
reacting
have
to
no
this
guile.
news? You have no guile. You're fine. Eve,
His news of
of him being from Willow Creek Hollow.
I'm very interested in that.
Yeah, her heart rate definitely picks up a little bit.
and you can hear Bolt, the magic that sustains Bolt is just going whoa, whoa, whoa. Just like perfect perfect 1 beat per second, rhythm.
I just say, I think you're hiding something, but that's okay. I don't mind a mystery. We'll figure it out.
And
eventually.
truthfully, we do not work for the Arcanum. We are here as a reward for our actions.
Which sounds like you deserve. Yes. I think I trust you.
It will be all right.
Did the writ that was read, did it have their names in it?
The writ had their names in it, yes.
It did have their
Yep,
names,
it
okay.
did have their names specifically in it.
So when you read it out loud, it did. It said it, okay.
So, you're thinking like maybe they stole it or something? Yeah.
I'm a
I mean, on the road.
bit on the run, as they might say.
Exciting.
No, terrifying.
Oh, from
brutal. From the Arcanum.
Oh.
Is there a bounty on your head?
My gods, I hope not.
What have
Not
you
as far
for?
as you know.
I haven't seen any signs.
But you seem so harmless. What did you do?
I didn't do anything.
That was rude.
You seem...
No,
just blasted
it's
two
true.
creatures and
I
they left them
am
nothing but
harmless. I'm just a half
I didn't mean
orc,
to
half
offend.
elf, trying to make my way through this world. I'm harmless, really.
Well, as you two might already know, the Arcanum, they have some views about things that not everyone in an area agrees with.
Such as necromancy.
I don't know what. it
Are you a
is.
necromancer?
No, not at all. I studied at the Talisman Academy. I'm not. I follow
He's
the
like-
letter of the law.
As far as I can tell, he's an
Yeah.
anti-necromancer. He doesn't bring things back to life. He makes them die. Most wizards. Necromancer.
It's, gosh, I can't believe I'm telling anybody. This is going to get me in a lot of trouble.
Have a drink of the thing.
I
the
have,
magic
and that's.
thing.
I think,
That's probably why he's
I
telling
think
so
that's
much.
why I'm telling you. My father is also a wizard, and he gave me his book and told me to run and never look back, and that he was in a lot of trouble, and that I have to keep this safe. And I'll show you guys my book, and I'll quickly put it away and make sure nobody was looking.
Is it a book of magic?
I can't read it yet. I'm trying.
Neither can I. And by the way, I'm not
If
closing,
I had a die
I'm-
to
I'm
give
not-
you, I would.
I'm not closing my eyes because I'm tired. I'm closing my eyes
Here,
because
take
I'm,
one of
I'm
mine.
trying to avoid actually seeing what you're doing with your hands.
You can't read it. So your mother passed.
She's not dead.
Oh.
She's gone.
Oh.
Long story for maybe another time.
Okay.
Sorry.
I won't pry. Well, okay, I will. But I'll pry more later because it seems like you're maybe at your capacity for prying.
Yes, very much so. Yeah. I don't know what's in it. I don't know why I'm in trouble, but I'm in trouble.
And what of your father?
I don't know.
Well, don't worry. Your secret's safe with us. We have no obligation to the Arcanum.
No.
Good.
I don't have any current contracts with them. So.
Then you are
Just
the
putting that out
closest
there.
thing I have to friends at the moment.
I prefer to avoid them as well, and my past dealings with them have not been very pleasant.
Do you
I've
feel
always
as if
idolized them, but
If it's
they seem
any,
to have torn my family apart.
if it's any consolation, I don't much like them either. They have muddled up my way of life, and have changed things. I don't much appreciate it, the way that they are.
But
They
they
seem
do keep
changing.
us safe, and they keep order, and I understand that.
I believe that people properly trained can govern themselves quite well.
And I assume you've hired Bolt for protection.
Yes.
Are you a bodyguard by trade?
No, this was just
Chance.
good happenstance. I was on my way here, and he needed someone to accompany him, and I like to have someone to travel with.
He's a really good guide. He knows everything about everywhere.
I've been around for quite a while, and I've been all over Aneria, probably multiple times.
Have you been to Malagoth?
A couple times, actually. Yes.
Excellent.
Have you ever been to Skull Seat?
You have not.
No, I would love to go though.
It's very beautiful this time of year.
And I actually turned to Eve and I'm like, have you been to other places?
Well,
Yes. I've been to many places. I could list them all, but it might take most of the night. So,
Fascinating. I bet you have a lot of great stories.
well, if we end up spending more time together, perhaps I will tell you some.
If it's not too rude to ask, who made you?
Well,
Actually, I wouldn't say that with reservation. Again, I have
Yeah.
no tact. Who made you? Who made you?
why did you come here? Damn it! Why?
Who's your serial number?
Who did make you? I'm curious.
Well, that's actually a good question. The first or the earliest memory I have is literally waking up in a pile of junk beneath Manaport. I don't know if any of you have ever been to Manaport.
I've read about it, and I've seen pictures.
Well, it's the
Drawings.
the great floating city out west.
Would
East,
does
sorry.
Manaport ever have like perform any of the rings that would like automatically make their way there?
Oh yeah,
Or-
yeah. I guarantee at least one ring.
That's where all the magic items come from, right?
Correct. Yes, they have actually. The city itself is as you know, it's hovering above the ground, and it's actually been held aloft on top of a ley line. And
Quite powerful.
they all around the perimeter of the city and the crater where the ley line is erupted from is actually piles of junk, and that's where I woke up. I don't know how I got there. I'm assuming from Manaport, but no one in Manaport seems to have been able to identify me or where I came from.
I think you more than an enchanted pile of junk.
Are there
Oh,
more,
that's sweet.
Are there more like you?
Thank you, friend. Have I ran into any other Warforged?
You ran into a few other Warforged, but they don't look quite like you.
Yeah, so I've ran into a few, but I seem to be a little bit different than most of them. I mean, all of them are different in personality and stuff, but they all generally have the same type of construction or look about them. And I've just been traveling an area trying to figure out if I can find any information about where I came from. Perhaps I fell from one of those void rifts. Void rifts?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, but
No, definitely not. Those were terrible creatures that came from the one we saw.
I guess you could call me not alive. I'm not dead, nor but I'm not undead. So.
Deus Ex Machina.
Literally.
Okay. Yeah.
Solemn. I say, so, wandering all over the continent for your whole life, another mystery. For how long?
About 75 years now.
Mystery.
It reminds me of the story of
Mystery.
Alita.
Not really.
Mystery.
I wear it all right here on my sleeve.
Brooding.
It literally is covered in tattoos. It's just nothing but your story, your life story.
Etched in.
Well, your quest, you don't know the knowledge.
Right, I
It's a
suppose that
mystery.
is a bit of a mystery.
You seem brooding, but maybe mysterious.
I'm mostly just angry that I can't see anymore.
Running guy is not mysterious.
All right. So, does the conversation lull there a little bit? Are you guys?
I think
good?
so.
Okay.
I'm really into my fish.
All right. Well, in that case,
And
as
you
you
just
guys
keep
are, like,
mumbling about mysteries.
Yeah.
Such a good mystery.
so as you guys are talking about the Arcanum and all things to do with everything with your characters, the door kind of pushes open and two figures step in. One is kind of it's another goblin. He's definitely in like a very regal outfit, and he's got a little bit of a paunch to him. And standing behind him is a heavily armored figure that all of you immediately recognize as an Arcanum Justicar. And she has like this giant maul, one of the force mauls strapped to her back and everything. And she just kind of like looks around. And again, I think I sent the Arcanum to you guys. Anyway, I'll show you guys later. But they have like very big full plate helms and everything like that. And they both step in. And Baelin kind of looks around a little bit. You can tell it's Baelin Heck because a few people go, "Hey, Baelin!" And he's like, "Oh, yes, hello." And then he goes, "Ah, there they are." And then he scurries on over to you, and he goes, "Enjoying yourselves, I hope?"
Indeed.
And the Justicar steps up.
Delicious. The drink is amazing. Sorry.
And the Justicar kind of looks over at the table, and she goes, "You're the two that are charging everything to my barracks?"
As we've been instructed for our fine work.
Did you see the script? Do I still have it?
No, Ceci took it.
That's right.
Baelin kind of pulls it out and taps the armored chest plate, and he's like, yes, it's right here, don't worry. And we'll work something out, I'm sure, if it's a little pricey, but that's great for, you're both going to be judges. Isn't that right? You both are interested in it.
Yes.
Of course.
Now, have you ever judged a competition before? And he snaps his fingers, and one of the barmaids brings over a stool, and he immediately sits down. It's almost as if, no, you know what? In fact, he just sits, and it's almost as if there's a stool underneath him. And if anybody checks, it looks like he's not on a stool at all, but his belt is like faintly glowing.
His pantomime skills are amazing.
He doesn't flip his butt out in two legs like off his pants.
No, it's definitely just like it looks like there's some magic in his belt, and it's not a sort of like he sits down and he comes up to the nose thing. Like he kind of just like this hop and sit, so that he's at height with everybody.
Bolt does go.
Well, I've judged the new recruits of the City Watch in Malagoth City for, things like uniform inspection and whatnot, but
Of course.
not really a contest, as it were.
And I've just judged people based on their appearance and actions.
Brilliant! Do you mind, by the way? And he points towards the wine that's already like another glass is kind of already shaping out of nothingness and pouring him one, and he
Please.
It's one of my favorite vintages.
But don't wait 2 minutes!
I forgot about that. I am going to have a little weird time in 2 minutes, so let's make this quick.
It's gonna be like when you're speaking and you accidentally burp while you're saying a word, but it's gonna be fireworks instead.
Yeah.
Fireworks, the dragon comes out and then pours more in his mouth.
So anyway, yes, you two will be judging alongside a few other special guest judges. And he kind of leans forward and he goes, as a little secret, one of them is Ionor herself.
Who's Ionor?
Do we know?
Either of you probably both don't know.
Okay.
You know, Ezra. You know who Ionor is. Because she is from Willow Creek Hollow. And she is...
How do you spell it?
It's Einor.
And she's one of the judges.
She is going to be one of the judges. Yes.
Is this the one, the critic that I sent to you?
Yeah,
Okay.
She's the food critic and master chef.
Yep. Okay.
Gratitude, got it.
Yes.
She has.
I thought it sounded familiar, but I was like, it's been a while since we did that. Yeah. Okay.
And he goes, and there's going to be a few others there. We'll announce them all tomorrow, but thought that might be a little interesting treat for you.
I'm excited. I don't know why, but I'm excited.
So am I.
Perfect. That's what we like to hear. And somebody goes, and there's like little tiny sparks. Woo-wee! Yes, definitely wait 2 minutes, and then he takes another drink. Yes, I mean it's been 2 minutes, obviously.
Sure.
Where are my manners? And he waves up to the Justicar who's just been kind of standing, looming over him. This is Justicar Gren. She is the local... Whitehall is her last name. She is the local Arcanum head of the guard in town. And she kind of leans down a little bit and she goes, Ionor still has not arrived. And he goes, yes, but she'll be here. No, nothing to worry about. But tomorrow... Once we get everything done, if you join me in the square, I'll kind of show you off to the people so that the individual competitors know who they are going to be on the lookout for. And then you'll just go up to the brew bash anytime that you wish. They'll give you samples. I think we have about 8 or 9 competitors. So make sure to pace yourselves.
Right.
And do me a favor and avoid the Meadstead meat. They're not a competitor. They're just there to provide extra alcohol for anyone who needs it.
Oh, Meadstead. I've heard great things about Meadstead mead.
Have you? I hope to shatter those notions. The wonderful vineyards and distilleries that we have here and breweries that we have here in Palebent completely blow anything that Meadstead can ever produce out of the water.
False advertising, perhaps.
I mean, they're cheap. At least. And then he stands up and the belt stops glowing and he kind of gets back to his feet and he says, well, I have plenty to do tonight. So I'm sorry for just dropping in, drinking some of your wine, and then leaving. But I hope to see you tomorrow, and yeah, just scale everything however you want. You know how to judge, I'm sure. Like you said. And he just like chuckles and walks off. And the Justicar waits around a moment, and she says, "Try not to spend too much of the Arcanum's money while you're here, but I understand if you want to be frivolous."
And Eve says, "I'm sorry, Justicar, but have we offended you in some way?"
No, I apologize. It's just budget concerns are my domain, and obviously trying to make sure that we balance the whims of the justices is a concern.
We'll try to be respectful.
Perhaps a drink might...
I'm on duty, and she turns around and walks off.
I really like her.
She's prickly, that one. Are you prickly?
Ezra, are you...
Sometimes.
Did you poop your pants? Are you okay?
You're the orc equivalent of pale, like you're
light green.
Purple.
Okay. Cool. So if there's nothing else that anybody wants to do this evening, we can go ahead and switch over to the morning.
I would like to do something.
Okay.
I would like to go back to my room and send a message.
Another message. Perfect. So again, write a note, roll it up, base, through the ring, and it's gone.
And are there any... Has there been any return messages?
You do actually, after a few minutes, you're kind of waiting around, and the ring starts frosting over, and the ground, or it starts frosting over, and you kind of touch it, and a note comes out, and you do receive a response, and the response says, await further instructions, keep a close eye.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just go back and take another bath.
After being that close to Borscht, you're just like,
Yeah.
I need
Yes.
I need to get the stink out.
and a little tipsy.
Yep.
Knock that hangover out
Yeah.
for the morning.
But yes, we'll go ahead and move on to the next day here. The next morning, none of you wake up with a hangover.
No, none of you wake up. Roll your characters.
None of you made any saves.
Do you need a
Poison.
Poison Borscht?
Nah,
Huh?
we're good.
No, I'm good.
So you would have woken up.
Yeah.
And you.
That's true.
But you all wake up bushy-tailed, bright-eyed, no hangovers to speak of. The wine, I mean, while the wine was very pleasant, there wasn't, like, a lot of it. Like, you only had a glass or two each, and it was magical wine, so...
Victor would probably
Yeah,
wake up
maybe.
early and like go and just sit and people listen.
Okay. Sit in people and listen.
I was gonna
People
say
listen.
watch, but
Sit
People
and
watch.
people listen.
People listen.
I gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, so you get a few scraps. There's some people in the corner. One's going like, I swear, I saw the biggest dragon you ever did see flying over Sky Peak. And the others are just like, shut up, man. Nobody's seen an actual dragon in thousands of years. You're just blowing smoke. And he's like, that dragon was blowing smoke. And they just keep like muttering on and everything. And then the rest of the party kind of filters downstairs. The waitress from last night, who I'm sure you charged a generous tip to the Arcanum for, comes up.
Especially after the Justicar stopped by and bitched about it.
And she definitely looks like she just barely got to work. She's like getting the ponytail in, but she wanted to come right over, and she's like, anything for breakfast?
What's...
Third most
You sure?
expensive breakfast item?
Sure, absolutely. And she leaves and she comes back with some cockatrice scrambled eggs. So, yeah. Very hard to get.
I'll take a scone and some coffee.
Yeah. And a scone and some coffee. And actually some like fish oil for you with the morning fish oil.
I'll take a coffee.
It's got
Black
omega
as-
3.
black
It's
as you
good
can
for
make
your
it.
bones.
Like if it's not like almost sludge coming out of the thing, like I don't want it.
I mean, we have sludge coffee if you want sludge coffee.
That's right.
Okay, great. It's like this weird like magical black pudding almost thing. So yeah, feel
They
free.
make it by leaving it
Canon.
in overnight.
Yeah.
It's literally made out of black
Someone
ooze
please
black
write down
pudding.
sludge
Try
coffee and send it
sludge
to
coffee.
me, just so that I can remember this for later. Because
Yeah.
one of you is going to mention it, and I'm going to be like, I don't remember what the hell I was talking about. But you guys have a quick breakfast because actually, like after she serves you guys, she goes, oh, we're actually just getting ready to close up for the festival, starting up. We'll be open later in the day, but everybody goes to the big speech and everything. So.
And can you direct us to where...
Oh, the town square.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Yep. Sorry, I forget that some people are out of town. And she just kind of goes back, and she immediately takes off the apron. Like, she basically looked like she was about to head out the door, saw you guys sitting down at the table, and went, I remember how good they tipped, and came over here to make sure that you were taken care of.
Awesome.
So once you guys are done eating, you can head out and head to the market square.
Let's head to the town square.
Okay. So on the morning of the festival, you wake up, blah, 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 signs and banners and streams have all kind of been set up around every building. And you gather around the street at a crowd of hundreds of farmers and citizens, all looking at a small stage set in the center of the large market square. But rather than entertainment, so the booths around you, and there are more booths leading up the big road that weren't there before the night before. There's no longer ledgermans in there, and now there are full market stalls. Some have little games for entertainment. There's a little one that has a bunch of flying crystalline dragons in it, and
show?
Yeah, it's actually one that kids are trying to toss rings onto the dragons, and you can hear little tinkling sounds. There is definitely a puppet show or two. There's also a puppet show, but I don't know what the difference is. Puppet. And there are definitely a bunch of shops. You can see little stuffed animals being sold. Some that are selling what appear to be socks that are claimed to be magical in nature. Bunch of candy stores. Basically, if there's a common item or common magic item, it'll be found in the marketplace. Several others if you want to take a look later, and then uncommon magic items you can talk about too. And of course, all prices are up to me. But before anybody can really get too deep into the partying and the games, everybody turns to the stage as Baelin Heck walks up onto it. He's got very fine mayoral outfit on as he did yesterday. It's even finer today. You can see that his sparse hair has been combed to the sides, and even as he's getting up there, Ceci's incessantly combing him, and he just kind of waves her off woman, I have to get started. And he smiles at everybody, and the crowd hushes, and he says, "Good afternoon. It is my honor, as Baelin of Baelin's Berth, to welcome you all to the annual Six Hills Festival." And everybody cheers. There's a lot of a few streamers get popped prematurely, the little candy poppers thing. A couple of the kids throw what appear to be little tiny crystals up into the air, and they kind of get that little sparking sound and everything as they fade away. And then after everybody dies down, he goes, "Each year we gather together to celebrate the end of the Battle of Six Hills and the formation of our prosperous community. This year, we are especially excited as this marks the 60th anniversary of the end of the battle and the formation of the town that I call home. I know if my father were alive today, he would be extremely proud to see us all working together." I'm going to pause there to point out that his father was the original Baelin. He's just one of the sons of the original Baelin. Again, probably the 42nd son, but still.
It was a very... well, never mind.
Prolific race.
As you're about to say that, two goblins that very clearly are wearing the Baelin clan crest go, yeah, we're everywhere.
Like rabbits.
Yeah, like bounders.
Bounders.
Yeah, like bounders.
Yes.
And he continues and says, "I take great pride in this community, not just as a goblin, but as a citizen and as a leader of Baelin's Berth proper. Through your hard work and dedication, Six Hills is on its way to becoming one of the biggest powers in the region, and I know that we will use that power for good. I'm truly humbled to be your servant, and wish us all a good year going forward." Again, some cheers. Yeah. Oh, no, the Ode to the Berth.
They're playing the Berth song.
Ode to the Berth song starts. All right, hang on. I'm not done yet. I'm not done. And the band kind of dies down a little bit. Now that all of the mushy stuff is out of the way, let's get to the fun part. We're going to start the festival off today with our annual finale for the Bounder races, and everybody yeah, and this gets an even bigger cheer. I know that you're all very excited to see who will win and take home the Diamond Cup, and he kind of waves his hand over to this pedestal, and there is literally a cup that has diamonds inlaid into it and everything. It's not made of diamonds. That would be very expensive, but it does have plenty of diamonds. Let's see here. With the annual Bounder race, we have two circuits. One for the professionals, which is the one you're all waiting for, and then one for the amateurs. So if there's anyone who wants to participate, there's a coupon in your books that my lovely wife has given out, and says he kind of waves at everybody. And it's for one of the individual events. So please feel free to sign up, whether you're here as a friend or as a judge. It doesn't matter. You enjoy one of the competitions.
Sarah, you've got to do it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's like mutton busting.
Yeah.
Can
I did that when I was a kid.
Did you?
Yeah.
Which one are you looking
Page 33.
Oh, perfect.
And then first prize of the amateur race is, of course, 10 gold. And then second place gets 5, and third place gets 3. It's sort of a smaller purse for what usually happens with the professionals.
I've never ridden a bounder before, but I've always wanted to try.
Okay.
Those
Cannot
same
wait
two.
to
Well,
watch.
Yes, small ponies. It's really all we have in the mountains.
They're about
Like
half
mini
the speed of a bounder, but
Yes, it's sort of a...
roughly the same
I was
size.
going to say Shetland, but that wouldn't make
As
sense in this world.
dwarves.
They're about half the speed of a bounder, just FYI.
Amazing.
I'll do more now. Gotta go fast. In addition to the races, which will take place outside the hills on a custom track that has been grown overnight by our druids. So thank you very much to the people from Little Gale, and everybody claps for a very floral-looking group of druids that are all like
I adjust
fully
my flower
drinking
crown.
coffee, like they've been up all night.
I adjust my flower crown.
Yeah.
Make sure it's perfect.
Oh yeah, yep, it is.
I've still got it
absolutely
on.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's grown a little bit into like maybe like a crack in your head skull.
Okay. Guess it's part of me now.
He's gonna wear it
For 1
forever.
year.
You're gonna get a bird.
Yeah, 1 year.
Be like,
A beard full of birds.
Yeah.
you're gonna be like, what's his bucket? Overwatch.
We've also set up the booths for the Brew Bash competition outside the Bounder, so you don't have to go very far for your drinks, which is already shaping up to be a very fierce one. I will remind all participants that trickery and cheating are not permitted of any kind, though I know for some of you that might just translate to don't get caught. We do have 2 special entries this year from outside Six Hills. I want everyone to welcome the village of Esther, which has brought a delectable mulled wine. And we also have something called... hang on a second. And he pulls out his notes and he squids. Fermented kombucha that comes all the way from Edequathanathan. And everybody kind of like looks over at the very obvious Edequathan that are standing there just waiting for the festivities to end. So please make them feel welcome and enjoy what they have to offer.
Colby's going.
Yep. And this is as good of time as any to announce that this year's special judges, for those of you who don't know, include Ignis Saul from Saulsport, and everybody turns around and they see like this very fine looking, he almost looks like a pirate. He's got the doublet on, and he's definitely got like a very gilded scimitar casing and everything, and they're all kind of are a little bit in awe of him. Anybody who is proficient in history would know that this is the current mayor de facto of Saltsport. And we also have two wonderful heroes of Potter's Path. Please give me your name.
Evosia Ferracu.
And
Seredan Stoneward.
And they are here to represent the Arcanum, and well, not in an official capacity, although a few people are already like cheering, like, "All right, cool, yeah," you know. And there's other people that are looking at you like, maybe we should stay away.
We're
Including
harmless.
one of our commanders.
And then, of course, finally, we have a true treat with us today, as Ainor Elovir herself has agreed to judge this year's competition. And at this, the crowd kind of murmurs and is looking around, but nobody can see the gnome chef, and Baelin has to clear his throat and said she's supposed to arrive shortly, so don't try to get her autograph just yet. And that kind of breaks the tension that everybody was like, where is she? What's going on? Oh, I also want to point out that our sponsor for the Brew Bash competition is once again Meadstead Meads. They have donated 3 gigantic kegs this year for us to partake in, so let's try to drink them down this time, okay? And that he kind of glosses over this really quickly, and there's definitely a chuckle from the locals, like, oh yeah, that's not going to happen. Let's see, what
I
next?
still want to try some. It can't be as bad as they say.
Well,
Perhaps before
Some guy in
the
the back's
competition.
like, we won't
We
even
are
water our
judges.
crops
I'm
with
sure
that
you would know.
swill.
Definitely. Gerald. Let's.
Same guy talking about, I swear there was a dragon.
Yeah, it is. Let's see. Oh, yes. We also have our Boulder Bonk competition. We need to come up with better names that don't all start with B's for these people.
Alliteration.
But any who want to participate can try their strength at cracking these rocks. The 4 finalists will go head-to-head to try and break this year's geodes, generously crafted by Gore himself. And everybody, all the locals, oh, wow, okay, cool. I think everybody remembers last year's boulder that held hunks of iron totaling 20 gold. And everybody's like, oh, who knows what will be inside this year?
Who or what is Gore?
Do you ask this of Baelin?
No, this is out of game.
Who or what is Gore?
So, let's see.
Is that something?
Ezra,
history.
Ezra and roll me a history check. You probably would be the closest ones that would know who Gore is.
18.
15.
15. Gore is the earth elemental that lives beneath Gordonvale, and basically he has an agreement with the people of Gordonvale because he all he wants to do is sleep, but he keeps growing minerals, like various metals and minerals on him and gemstones, and the people of Gordonvale clear it off for him so he doesn't have to wake up and scratch himself, basically. And so he gets to sleep and just be lazy, and they
It's
get
like a
to
symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, then the people of Gordonvale get to profit off of the metal that he produces. In fact, that's what makes Gordonvale a powerhouse as far as the smithing community goes, because they're able to get cheap metals. Yeah. Let's see. Entry fees are 1 gold apiece or your ticket if you have them, and all proceeds go to the farmers of Eastfall Village, whose lands were ravaged by bandits last month and are in desperate need of aid. So please be sure to donate. There will be a donation box as well for anybody who doesn't want to participate but does want to help the farmers out. And then once the Boulder Bonk is complete, the Druids of Little Gale will shape the Bounder track into the day's final event, an alchemical triathlon this year. Entry is once again 1 gold piece donated to Eastfall, and it would pitch your skill and ability to drink in very different capacities than most of you are used to. And let's see. And then in the evening, after everything is said and done, the lovely colleges and monasteries of Bordergrad have put together a reenactment of the Battle of 6 Hills, guaranteed to dazzle us as they do every year with fighting spectacles and tugs at all of our heartstrings. And everyone is welcome to watch the show for free, as always. I believe that's about it. And he looks over to Ceci, who is already getting ready to clear her throat, and he says, "Right, sorry, dear. I almost forgot that after everything is said and done, you're all invited back here to the market square, where my dear wife Ceci and the full clan," and he goes, "Baelins," and everybody, like a bunch of the goblins go, "Baelins!"
Yeah.
Have prepared a grand feast
I'm surrounded by Baelin.
for everyone to enjoy. I would also be shirking my husbandly and Baelin duties if I did not take this opportunity to ask everyone to join me in a round of applause for Ceci for all of the work that she's done this year. Thank you very much. Well, that's it. I won't take any more of your time. I know there's alcohol that everybody wants to get to and a race that everyone wants to see. Please, lead on. And there, people kind of at the back of the crowd they'll put on hats and instruments and start banging drums and everything. Well, it's mostly goblins, and they all start leading this procession, this full-on parade procession up the trail, and everybody cheers, and the festival has begun.
Yay!
Woohoo! Now, is there anything that anybody wants to do on their way up to the festival? You can stop by Nico's if you want. I know that was something that you were talking about.
Definitely want one of those sugar bombs.
I'll follow her to Nico's.
Okay.
I've already torn that coupon
I'll
out of
say,
You've
Ezra,
been holding
do you
it.
like
I can't.
sweets?
Anytime they say a
You're
page
like-
number, I count it and then I pull that out.
Usually not, no.
Join me. Let's see if these sugar bombs are any good.
Alright.
You've been talking about them for so long, I can't help but get one.
I know. We've all got to eat one. Bolt, do you sugar?
What
Do you sugar?
do I sugar?
Do you sugar?
What are these sugar bombs? Just candy?
I don't know. I've
or-
never had one.
Sure.
Let's go try
I'll
'em.
tag along.
Yep. So you guys kind of wander up. You do see a sign declaring Nikos and a little Axolotl or Axtoli is there, and he's kind of moving things around a little bit. He's cleaning things up, which is kind of like this little. It almost looks like a washcloth that's made of pure water itself. And as you come up, he smiles and slaps it, and it just becomes like a wristband. And he says, "Hello, hello," and he does have 4 arms, by the way. Welcome to Nikos. I'm assuming you're here because of the free coupon.
Ooh, I forgot.
I pull it out and wave
The
it.
coupon.
Perfect. And he takes them all from you, one in each hand, and then one more from Victor. He whips his water shaping out and hands it over, or grabs it over. And then he pulls out a tiny little box and he opens it up, and there are these lollipops in there with like a red wrapper around them. And he goes, "These are hasty sugar bombs, guaranteed to give you a little bit of a pep in your step. Please take one and feel free to enjoy."
I take one, unwrap it, and go.
Okay.
Like, crunch the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Your movement speed is increased by 5 for 1 hour.
Ooh, nice.
Very cool.
Yeah, I start
Same.
licking the lollipop.
Yep. Same thing happens to all of you. Anybody who tastes it, your speed will be 5 more feet for 1 hour.
Cool.
These are very good. May I buy a few more?
Of course. They are 1 gold per pop. I've got a few in stock here. I do have to limit them to about 3 per customer. And then I do have other varieties as well. And he pulls out some that look like he pulls out like a bag of almost like jelly beans. He pulls out a kind of this pumpkin-y tote of like it almost looks like those pumpkin candy corn trick-or-treat things. And he's got a few that look like they're just like these little turtles. That like he has one that's specifically cracked open. You can see like caramel running out from it and everything.
Do you have any of those disgusting peanuts that they sell at the circus sometimes?
I'm afraid not. Only sweets here, friend.
I was hoping.
You like
What,
disgusting things.
They
what are
remind
the
me of
properties of all of these?
Oh, of course.
Orange and disgusting. At your home.
So the jelly bean bag here is actually a grab bag of many different things. So you'll have to kind of pull one out and taste for yourself. Same with the tote.
Should I
And
eat,
each of those is about 10 gold for the full bag.
Should I eat 4 or 5 of these? Would I have, say, a sugar rush that would compound?
If I would not recommend eating more than one type within 24 hours of each other. Is this your first time eating sugar bombs?
It is.
Okay. Definitely don't eat more than one type within 24 hours, or you will become sick. And that is a guarantee. It's unfortunately a property of the magic that we have not been able to work out yet.
All right.
We have these everlasting sugar bombs, and he pulls out basically an everlasting, gobstopper. And he's like, "These will give you plenty of food and rations for 30 days worth if you suck on them." So
Really?
those are going to be 15 gold apiece. They are very hard to make, though. So be in mind of that. So the turtley ones will give you a little bit of extra shell, I suppose. Especially if you are prone to wearing shields, you can wear one on your back and still give yourself a nice little bonus there. And as far as the other ones go,
I do love caramel. I'm gonna buy myself 3 of those.
okay. So those ones are going to be 4 gold apiece. They actually come in pairs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you get 2 for 3 gold.
2 for 3 gold, and there's a max of
Max of 3 per customer. So if you want
6
to buy
total, basically.
Yeah, if you want to buy 6 total, you can.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he says these ones right here, and he pulls out a bag of marble-sized gumballs, and he says these will. I guess the best way they give you tongues, not actual tongues, but more like you can speak any language and hear any language as if you could speak it.
Wow.
Yeah. And the bag itself comes with 12 candies,
That might be good.
and it's 12
You know
gold
what?
for the bag.
Alright.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all
Wonderful. So go ahead and add Free Phil's tiny, tasty, tongue twisty sugar bombs. 12 of them.
free fills.
And that's FREFIL''S.
Is that on D&D Beyond? Budget?
Okay.
Okay.
No, it probably, unless it's in the homebrew section, I don't know. This is all from the Griffin Saddlebag. I don't know if they have them on D&D Beyond, but you can check and see.
I'll take 3 of your speedy pops.
Okay, so add 3 hasty sugar bombs.
And quite frankly, I'm intrigued by the jelly beans.
They are indeed lovely. So if you'd like that, you absolutely can. So you would add the Free Fills Jolly Ooze Bean sugar bombs.
Jolly.
And those are that's the random.
Yep.
Random effect for each bean.
Yep.
Kind of like a Bernie Bot style, every flavor bean, but
What was the
magic,
price on that?
extra magic. 15 gold.
Yeah, 15 for the ooze beams.
Kind of like a Bernie Bot.
Kind of like a Birdie Bots, yeah. There's some randomized magic in there. Not enough to be considered chaos magic, because that's a no-no for the Arcanum.
Yeah.
And he does clarify that, like, this is not chaos magic. This is clearly just random, fun, harmless, fun magic fun.
Anyone who's listening.
Okay, and you put it that way.
So
For all those people
technically,
that don't like chaos.
so there's 4 different colors that end up inside of it, and you get 1d8 of each color. So do you want to go ahead and roll me a d8?
2.
2, and then roll that d8 again.
2.
So 2 black
Okay.
beans. And not actual black beans, but like candy beans. And roll the
I don't like the
d8
black
twice
ones.
again.
Pinto beans?
7 and 3.
So
One
3
refried
green.
bean. It's just a glob of
Roll again.
Refried and then remolded back into a bean
7
shape.
and
I mean,
4.
that would be interesting to eat
so-
jelly beans and have them taste like
4 more
real
greens.
beans.
So you get a lot of green in this one.
Huh, green beans. Okay.
6
Interesting.
Edamame.
and 2.
So 2 red beans. And that was 4, right?
4.
Yep. So that's what you get.
Okay, sweet.
Yep. And then I'm trying to find yours really quick.
And do I know this? Will he tell me what those do?
He doesn't actually say. He just when you ask him, he goes, "There, that's the surprise."
I'm excited to try.
And I go,
try 'em.
kind of deadpan, I go, that's very chaotic.
And nope. Once again, very random. Random. Everyone.
There is a difference
Yes.
between random and chaotic,
I
according
think
to
they're
the law.
called- Oh, okay. Apple Pencil battery is low, and we're gonna cut all this out because I can't remember where this page is. Oh, and then he does have one more in there if anybody's interested. He's got these little, very sharp-looking candies. And he goes, these are peppermints sugar bombs. They got a little bit of a bite to them, but they'll provide a little bit of extra bite to you. And I'll be selling those. Those are actually going to be 1 gold apiece.
I'll take 3 of them.
Okay.
Same here.
I will as well.
Hey, 3 of you
What are they
add.
called? Sorry.
They are peppermints, as in, like, you're mincing something. Sugar bombs.
They were 1 gold apiece.
1 gold apiece, yep. And he goes, now, I could stay here and tell you everything that you ever wanted to know so that you would just spend all of your gold here, but there's plenty of shops. I know you can get yourself, if you've never had a Snuggle Beast, you should grab yourself a Snuggle Beast. They're adorable, just over there. But there's a few other things that you should try out. Don't just spend all your money on sweets.
You sound like my mother. Before she passed.
So they're called Shielding Turtle Sugar Bombs.
Shielding Turtle.
Yep.
And these ones were mints. Peppermints.
Peppermints, yep.
M-I-N-C.
Yep. And again, I don't know if they're on D&D Beyond, but if they are, I guess you can spoil yourself on what the effects are, but you could also just leave it for chance. Is there anything else that I can get you, though? Even though I just said that don't spend all your money here. In fact, you know what? You've been such great customers. Take one of the treats from the Tricky Tote. So you can each add 1 Tricky Tote treat sugar bomb for free. Tricky Tote. And those ones are particularly devilish, so be sure you... Not actually devilish, but devilish. So be sure to be aware that something spooky may go on.
Okay.
So if anybody else has anything they'd like to stop and take a look at, you do see the Snuggle Beasts that they're referring to, and they're just literally tiny plushies of different monsters and everything. And there are also, if you want, there's some of those crystals. If you want a couple like fire crystal cracker things, you can. A couple other, like again, magic socks. You see a belt that looks exactly like the belt that the Baelin was wearing.
I'm very interested in that, actually. I break a lot of chairs.
And the goblin who is manning the booth, because that's the easiest race for me to think of, is like, I can see that you would break a lot of chairs. So what you do need is a seatbelt.
Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Sure, of course. So here, in fact, and he whips it off of the stand, and he comes out and he whips it around you like expertly and ties it, and he goes, "Sit down."
What is the weight limit on these?
Bolt sits, just stands there for a second and then just kind of shrugs because, falling, whatever, it's not going to hurt too bad.
Yeah.
And he just plops like he's plopping in a chair.
Except for you stop like you get into a chair.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Can I, I'm going to try to recline, like feet up.
It definitely reclines.
Like lazy boy style.
Yep. It reclines backward, but your feet, you can't like feet up.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. So this is a seatbelt. It's a wondrous item common. While standing on a solid surface, you can begin to sit down in an open space as if there were a chair beneath you. When you would normally crouch or fall to the ground when doing this, you can mentally command the belt to be summoned, or in this case, it just got summoned for you. Summon an invisible, incorporeal chair as a bonus action instead. The chair can be of any style you choose, such as a stool, recliner, throne, rocking chair. Oh, you can do a recliner. Never mind.
Nice.
Rocking chair and can support up to 500 pounds.
Perfect.
So I hope that is the goblin did look a little wary. He didn't really weigh you before.
Takes two of them and straps them together. And there you go, double the weight.
And then it can't be interacted with beyond simply sitting on it.
Yeah.
And then the chair disappears if it's no longer on a solid surface if you stand up, or if you're pushed or moved while sitting.
Yeah.
So
I stand up and down a few times,
Yeah.
like imagining different chairs.
Yeah.
Like the throne. Oh.
And then the ivory
An
throne.
Adirondack chair.
By the way, because you were saying things about the plushies, there's the Snuggle Beasts for everybody. You can kind of see.
You can buy one.
I could.
I don't know if that's
the
showing up.
Charmander and the Tarrasque.
I think if you wanted to, you'd be easily able to find an owlbear one, because those are the very common ones, and that's the little guy with the owl face.
Does it have a little
OMG,
T?
it is so cute.
And
have a
it
little
is 15 gold.
I can't
Have
afford
a
it.
tie ink tag.
Otherwise, I would.
How much is the seatbelt?
The seatbelt's going to cost you about 15 gold as well.
I'll take it.
Okay. One seatbelt for Bolt. Never have to worry about a chair again.
I'm going to buy Evie an owlbear plushie.
Aww.
Yay!
Or would you like to try to win one?
How?
So you do see that there are a couple other booths that are doing specific games of chance. There is one that is like a dart throwing game.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to attempt that, it's going to cost you 2 copper to play. But if you can find the specific, and it's not balloons like at a usual fair, but they are literal like magic bubbles that are floating around, and they're opaque, but inside are prizes. And the first one you hit is the prize that you get for 2 copper, and it could be anything from like just a couple like pieces of normal candy, or the grand prize is a Snuggle Beast. So yeah.
I love games, but I'm not much for randomness or chaos. Not
It's
chaos.
randomness. It's not chaos. It's just random.
I'll just take this one.
Okay. So
I want to, well, I guess while he's saying that, I want to just nonchalantly spin my dagger. Can I, if I get within range of the booth, can I hear what's inside of the bubble? Or is
go
it
ahead and give me a perception check with disadvantage.
13, 11, I'm going to add that to that, so that's 14.
Yeah, with the epic dice that you added in there, yes, you can hear inside these bubbles, and you can clearly hear the plushy one.
I guess I'll enter into for the 2 copper, and I'll try and get it.
I won't even need a check from you. You're a knife dancer. You grab the dart and you expertly like do the cool like somebody would do with a coin, but you do with the dart, and then you right through the one, and the owlbear Snuggle Beast falls to the ground. So yeah, you have that. You now have an owl beast, snuggle beast.
I assume someone wanted this. Anybody? You got one?
Sure, why not? Now that can be friends.
I love it. Thank
So you did buy one, and then he also won one. Okay.
I would like to return my.
So just so you know, if you didn't want to spend the 15 gold, if you wanted that to be the
that's
snuggle.
okay.
So just so you know, when a creature regains hit points at the end of a short rest by spending one or more of its hit dice, that creature can regain extra hit points if it spends that short rest snuggling one of these enchanted toys. The kind of snuggle beast and the hit points it restores are determined by its rarity. For the common owl bear, it's 1d6 extra hit points per hit dice spent.
Nice.
Yeah, and then
That's
if you can find a unicorn, it's 2d6. A rare dragon is 3d6, and then the very rare Tarrasque is 4d6. So if you can find a Tarrasque
And
snuggle
that's
beast.
per hit dice?
Crap.
That is
Now we're
per-
gonna go on a quest to try to get all the snuggle beasts.
Oh, so it says by
Snuggle
spending
beast
one or more of its hit dice, it can regain extra hit points if it spends. Yeah, so it's just
So
1d6.
it's a total of an extra
Yeah.
1d6. That makes more sense.
Okay, I was
And
gonna
then
say
you can
that's
only-
way powerful.
Yeah, no, you can only use that benefit once before needing to finish a long
And I
rest.
assume it's
Yes.
unique, right? You can't buy a bunch of them and like sit in a pile of them.
I don't think they require attunement. I mean, let's be honest here.
Let's break the game.
All right.
That would be like what my kids do. They
Yeah.
sleep in a pile of snuggle beasts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it
my
doesn't-
daughter's
it doesn't
bed basically is
require
all
attunement.
snuffies and
Thank you so much.
Of course.
I feel like this is our best friend bracelets.
Yes, exactly. The Aneria version
Yes.
of BFF bracelets.
You could even put like your flower crowns on them if you wanted
Oh. How are you so adorable?
We'll come up with
to.
names.
I try.
We'll come up with names later.
Yes.
So you guys continue on the path upward. I believe everybody buy something at the markets. Everybody good?
Mm-hmm.
There's a few other things. There's a couple different magical socks if you want to take a look at.
Where did you find these?
Again, it's all from the Griffin saddlebags. They got quite a few little like. There's one that looks like it's a magical ring that, as you guys are passing by, the human puts it on, and there's this tiny little mage hand that pops up, and he starts making gestures with it, and that's all that the ring does. And he just like reshapes the hand size and everything. At one point, you see that there's this white glove that's kind of sitting there floating, and somebody waves it over, and it kind of grabs something and picks it up and puts it down, and then it kind of like grabs a snuggle beast and plays with it as if it is a child, but it's really just a magical hand. It's a magical town. It's a magical world, and there are definitely like Wellspring Item Company items here, which are more practical stuff like a water breathing cap, things like that. But they're mostly being ignored.
So
Yeah,
instead of
they are mostly
TYE,
being
it's
ignored in
WIE.
Six Hills.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we are going to. I think that's actually a good place to stop as you guys come up the procession. I hope everybody just enjoyed spending the last 40 minutes shopping. This campaign has everything already. When we come back next time, we'll get to the individual competitions. If you guys want to sign up for one of those, you absolutely can. You can sign up for multiple of them. More intrigue may be on the way. Maybe we're just gonna have fun at a festival for a whole episode. I don't really know. But we'll figure it out. And until next time, I guess everybody remember to like, subscribe, share this with your friends. Notification bell, yeah, ding it, so that you can know all the cool stuff. This should be coming out every Wednesday. We'll be doing this in addition to all of the other videos that you already know and love, and maybe some more that you don't actually like.
Comment with what you like and you don't like.
Yeah, comment if you liked something, if you thought it was kind of weird that we did a bunch of shopping in the first episode. Also that I gave a bunch of magic items away on the first episode. Trust me, I gave way more than you know about.
What should we name our snuggle beasts?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
name
that's a
name
good
the
idea.
stuff.
I
You
should
should do
put
a
a
poll.
poll.
You should do a poll.
Yeah.
My vote is for Gregor and Dane, which are two owl bears that are very dear to my heart.
Gregor and Dane.
Mhm. Yep. I'll tell you all about it, but we can do that off air.
Okay.
So for now, good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.
See you guys.
Bye.